Mislu TV Sports. Tonight from Anaheim, California, the 3rd annual Freedom Bowl. The Cougars of BYU meet the Bruins of UCLA in a classic matchup of WAC Conference and Pac-10 teams. Tonight's game is brought to you by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. By the U.S. Army, a place to be all you can be. By Mitsubishi, who invite you to test drive and experience the new 1987 Mitsubishi cars and trucks. By IBM. And by Vic Sinex. With Sinex, you feel better in 1 second. Plus, it keeps you breathing for hours. Good evening, everyone, and we welcome you to Freedom Bowl 3. 1986 style, it's BYU and UCLA. I'm Howard David along with Jack Snow as we get ready to bring you a classic matchup. Two outstanding conferences in America, and the burning question, if you're a Bruin, is which team shows up for UCLA? The one that Oklahoma took apart or the one that UCLA took apart, and that is USC, of course.
A great question. The Bruins started out the season on a very sour note against Oklahoma. They were drubbed, and it was a humiliating defeat for the Bruins. They finished up in rather fine fashion, and they beat a very good Arizona team after falling behind at halftime. They closed out their season with a very strong victory over the Trojans from USC.
And the last decade, BYU has had great quarterbacks. This year, an outstanding defense.
Well, Jason Buck, he's an outstanding, the Outland Trophy winner. He anchors one side of the line, Sean Knight the other side. Two big guys, very capable, very quick. Two high-round draft choices in the NFL draft coming up.
If you're BYU, you have a tough job of stopping some talented running backs, particularly Gaston Green.
Gaston Green, one of the great ones next year, no question, a Heisman Trophy candidate. He's had a good season. He's been hurt with a problem of injuries, nitpicky injuries, hurt ankle, hurt toes, but he's in fine form for tonight's game. All
right, the stage is set. It's BYU and UCLA, and we'll go now to our colleague, the leader of the band, Greg Wyatt.
Howard and Jack, this is the rubber match of the series. It's all tied at 1. BYU won the first outing, 37-35. Steve Young was the star of that one. Then UCLA came back to win 27-24. Craig Rutledge had a 65-yard interception in that game. Matt Stevens a 62-yard touchdown pass. And yes, Gaston Green had a touchdown. We'll be back with the matchups right after this short timeout.
Read any good microwave popcorns lately? Now this one says it's normal for 1 to 3 tablespoons of kernels to remain unpopped. And this one is only recommended for certain wattage microwaves. Now this one is Pop Secret from Betty Crocker. Pop Secret works in all microwaves, and it pops up beautifully, light and fluffy. The next time you want to curl up with a good microwave popcorn, make it Pop Secret. The secret to better microwave popcorn.
Sure, I'm ferocious on the field. You've got to be tough in my business. And I'm also demanding when it comes to time. I wear a Sharp quartz watch that not only looks sharp, but fits my lifestyle.
Sharp watches, they're tough and dependable, and that's why Sharp is the only famous watch with a 5-year warranty, and they make great gifts, too. Many models available in water-resistant fashion colors. Sharp people wear Sharp watches. Sharp at fine stores everywhere.
10 years ago, Honda gave the automotive world a moving target, the Honda Accord. Since then, car makers the world over have taken their best shots at hitting the combination of engineering, workmanship, performance, and price. They've all missed.
Follow the sun to Southern California, where you'll find the Inn at the Park, a beautiful hotel on park-like grounds right next to Disneyland. But the Inn at the Park is much more than Disneyland. It's the California beaches. It's Knott's Berry Farm. It's the entertainment. Follow the sun to the Inn at the Park in Anaheim, next to Disneyland. Call 800-421-6662 or 714-750-1811.
Back at the Freedom Bowl, I'm Dwayne Dow. Good evening. And now let's take a look at the matchup for tonight's game. Brought to you by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. Well, this is quite a matchup indeed. The Western Athletic Conference. going against the Pacific 10 Conference. What a battle it should be in the Freedom Bowl. Two outstanding teams. The Cougars of Brigham Young, with an explosive offense and a rugged defense, are again a Lavelle Edwards Bowl team. Outland Trophy winner Jason Buck and his all-conference teammate Sean Knight anchored the best defense in the league, allowing only 17 points per game. Fullback Lakhe Hemuli set a Cougar career rushing record, gaining close to 1,000 yards. And speedster Robert Parker was a constant threat on offense. All-America wide receiver Mark Bellini was again the team's pass receiving leader with 40 catches for 5 touchdowns. Kicker Leonard Chitty led the team in scoring with an amazing 80% field goal accuracy mark. Lavelle Edwards has the best winning record in America during the 80s and now leads Brigham Young to its 9th consecutive bowl game, the 1986 Freedom Bowl. Leading the UCLA Bruins into tonight's Freedom Bowl is junior tailback Gaston Green, who will enter 1987 as a solid senior candidate for the Heisman Trophy. This season, even with missing early games because of a foot injury, Green rushed for 1,139 yards and scored 14 touchdowns. He ended the year with 6 strong games of 100 yards or more, including a career-high 224 yards and 4 touchdowns in UCLA's victory over arch-rival USC. UCLA won the game 45-25. Defensively, UCLA is paced by first-team All-Pac-10 performers junior nose guard Terry Toomey and senior strong safety Craig Rutledge, along with junior inside linebacker Ken Norton, who earned second-team All-America honors. The Freedom Bowl will be UCLA's 6th consecutive postseason appearance, including New Year's Day Bowl wins the last 4 years in a row. The Freedom Bowl shapes up as a wide-open affair. Stay with us. We'll be right back with the kickoff.
Give me a light. Bud Light.
If you just ask for a light beer, you never know what you'll get.
Pitcher of light. Bud Light.
So if you want the lips-filling light beer with the first name and taste, don't just ask for a light beer.
Give me a light.
Ask them to bring out their best.
Bud Light.
Bud Light. Because everything else is just a light.
We've got it all, we've got it all. Beaches and paddle boats to dancing waterfalls. We've got it all, we've got it all. Daytime or nighttime, fun and pleasure call. Dine and dance, find romance. We entertain you all the while. At Disneyland Hotel, we've got it all.
60 acres of resort pleasures and the only hotel on the monorail to Disneyland.
We've got it all.
A jellyfish swims faster than that.
Not with a clogged nose like this.
Oh, try this.
Sidex, I need help now.
You got it. Hit this when you feel it. 1 second.
With Sinex Vapors, you feel better in 1 second. Plus, it's strong decongestant, keeps you breathing free for hours.
And you're gonna need it for hours.
Whoa!
Sinex, regular or long-lasting. Feeling better is a second away. From Vicks, of course.
It's Pontiac's year-end blowout, and that's something special. Hot savings on these Pontiacs equipped with optional air conditioning. Pontiac's made it possible for Pontiac dealers to pass along special savings of up to $675 on Sunbird, or up to $775 on Fiero, Firebird, or Pontiac 6000. All equipped with air conditioning. You must take actual retail delivery from dealer stock by December 31st. This could be your last chance to deduct sales tax on your federal income tax if you itemize, so see your Pontiac dealer today.
You're looking live at Anaheim Stadium. There's the officials for tonight's game. Actually, it is Brigham Young won the toss, but UCLA has been given the option. They have elected to receive, so UCLA will be on offense at the beginning of this game. BYU will be kicking off. Actually, the officials are from the Big 8 Conference. Here's UCLA's offensive alignment. The left tackle, Eric Rogers. Jim Alexander gets the start tonight at left guard. Starting center will be Torrey Pankoff. Joe Goebel will move to right guard. And Russ Warnick will start at right tackle. Willie Flipper Anderson, the split end for the Bruins. Derek Tunnell will start at tight end. Carl Durrell will be the flanker from San Diego, the senior. And Marcus Greenwood, the starting fullback. There was a question mark as to whether he starts, but he will. Gaston Green, the superstar tailback. And Matt Stevens, the senior quarterback from Fountain Valley, California. Lavelle Edwards, the head coach of Brigham Young, came to BYU as a defensive coach. And look what he's turned out offensively. You look at that incredible record, 76% winning percentage. Here's the BYU defense. Jack Snow talked about Sean Knight at the top of the show, the senior from Sparks, Nevada. David Futrell, the nose guard from El Paso. And Outland Trophy winner Jason Buck, the right tackle. 4 linebackers for the Cougars. Richard Hobbs, Reagan Hansen, Andy Katoa, and the weak side linebacker Thor Salanoa. Shane Shumway will be the starting left cornerback for the Cougars. The strong safety Corey Rasmussen. Jeff Wilcox with 7 interceptions, the free safety. And the right quarterback, the ever dangerous Rodney Thomas. Here are the deep people for UCLA. Darrell Henley and Carnell Lake will be awaiting the kickoff of BYU's Scott Peterson. Correction of Leonard Shitty, of course, will be a field goal kicker. The man that will kick off tonight for BYU will be Chris German. We get another look at Darrell Henley and Carnell Lake. UCLA has been designated the home team tonight for Freedom Bowl 3. The crowd tonight expected to be the equal of the previous 2 years combined. German, soccer-style kicker, gets it off, and Freedom Bowl 3 is underway. Darrell Henley on the return. He fumbles the ball, but it is UCLA that falls on it right away at the 28-yard line. Mark Neal makes the tackle on the return for the Cougars. And it'll be UCLA ball, 1st and 10, just inside their own 30-yard line. Making the play for the Bruins on the save was a Carnell Lake who fell on the loose ball. So the Bruins come out on an I set with Gaston Green and Marcus Greenwood, the setbacks. Senior Matt Stevens bootlegging it to the right side. Going short. Pass is incomplete. It was caught out of bounds. Pass intended for Flipper Anderson, the split end, number 83.
He had him. There's no question Steven had him on a short out route, but he got the ball to him a little bit late. That's a problem that Stevens has been having this past week and a half in practice. Coach Donahue was saying he hasn't looked particularly sharp leading up to this ball game, but he has got to have a good night tonight if the Bruins are to be successful.
Bob Garibaldi's in as he's wide receiver out wide to the left side. 2nd and 10 play, Bruins. BYU showing blitz. Green, about 5 yards. Chased out of bounds by Andy Katoa and Richard Hobbs.
A couple of things we talked about offensively in the pregame, and let's go over again what UCLA is going to have to do offensively. Number 1, Stevens is going to have a good ball game. Also, the Bruins have got to be able to get outside in their running game. They've got to be able to get outside of those guys.
It's a 3rd down play, and Brendan McCracken is now in at quarterback for UCLA. They use McCracken on wishbone situations, but here it is 3rd and 5.
They'll go for the option. Let's see if they option him.
McCracken, a good runner. With Arbuckle in motion, McCracken slowed up, fumbles the ball at the 30-yard line, and BYU has recovered it. Andy Katoa comes up with the free ball, number 47.
Howard is a good example of coming in late, being a little bit not in sync. Watch it right here. McCracken wants to run the rollout or the option. He's a very good option quarterback. He drops the ball or gets it kind of stripped out of his hands. Not quite sure who it was. I think it might have been 57. Richard Hobbs had stripped the ball away from him, but it was recovered by Katoa. Big break for the Cougars.
So BYU and their sophomore quarterback, Bob Jensen. With one setback, Locke Hamuli. And Jensen back to throw on first down. Has Parker out of the backfield to about the 25-yard line. Pickup of 5 on first down. Greg Bolin makes the stop. Brian White, the starting right tackle. John Borgia, the right guard. This is the BYU offensive line. Brian Rodoni, the center. Chris Matau. And David King, the left tackle, will give you the rest as we move along. 2nd and 5. Brigham Young is David Miles. The split end is Jensen. Out of the backfield, he's got Haimuli. Ball shaken loose from Haimuli, but it was not a reception. It'll bring up 3rd down and 5. Tough hit by number 92, Frank Batchkoff.
Haimuli, an outstanding back if you look at the remainder of the offense.
Here's the split end, David Miles. Darren Hadley, the starting tight end for the Cougars. Mark Bellini, and he's a good one, the wide receiver and the fastest Cougar on their squad. Locke Hamuli, the starting fullback. Robert Parker, the starting halfback. And Bob Jensen, the starting quarterback. 3rd down and 5, Cougars. Jensen complete to Bellini. Inside the 10-yard line and a first down for Brigham Young. James Washington made the tackle on the play, an 18-yard pickup. And the Cougars are within striking distance.
Just a great job by Bellini of reading the zone defense. UCLA, as we watch Jensen roll out. Now he rolls out to avoid the pass rush. He's looking all the way downfield for Bellini, who's working his way into the seam. You see it right there. A natural seam. Rutledge tries to make the tackle, but he can't. Bellini jumps over the top on a little curl-in route and gets up some extra yardage. Here it is again. Now, if you're a defensive back and playing the corner in the up zone, this is what it looks like. There's Bellini right there. Bellini is a master at reading the zone.
1st and goal, Brigham Young. Parker ran into his own people, but actually an outstanding play by Eric Smith, number 98. He stuffed it and did not allow Parker to get outside.
Well, you don't hear a whole lot about Eric Smith, the right outside linebacker for the Bruins, but I tell you, he may be the most consistent guy in that defensive team. He's played very outstanding football all year long for the Bruins.
Loss of about a yard on the play, but it'll be 2nd down, goal to go. Brigham Young, following a recovery of a UCLA fumble. The Cougars have it, and Lavelle Edwards watches Jensen on the quarterback draw inside the 5 to about the 4, maybe the 3-yard line. Brought down by number 31, Carnell Lake.
As we go through this ball game, now remember that the guy quarterbacking you're looking at right there, number 4, Bob Jensen. This is only his 2nd start this year. He's a sophomore, but he may be the best athlete on the BYU football team.
Jimmy Edwards started to come into the game for Brigham Young, but he and Bellini now go to the sidelines as the Cougars go with 2 tight ends. Ralph Martini in the game now. 3rd and goal. Jensen on the roll, and he's in trouble. Then down at the 15-yard line. Terry Toomey, the nose guard, led the charge, and number 41, Ken Norton. And if the name Norton sounds familiar, it's because his dad, the former heavyweight champion of the world, Ken Norton Sr. Lost at 12. Here it is.
Toomey's going to come in from his nose guard position. He's not a big guy. Toomey's only 6'1", about 225 pounds, but he's a very active nose guard. He has harassed passers all year long. You see him get in there and make the tackle and move the Cougars way back out of possible scoring a touchdown.
This is going to be a 32-yard field goal. Jimmy Edwards to hold for Leonard Cheedy. Plenty of distance and splits the uprights, and BYU comes away with points following a UCLA turnover. The Brigham Young Cougars on top of Freedom Bowl 3-0.
Mitsubishi. My brother needed a new truck. I told him Mitsubishi Mighty Max is priced lower than Toyota, Nissan, or Mazda. Then Sis wanted one with extras. Mighty Max Sport, I said. Next, I said, before you buy, test drive a Mitsubishi. They'll give you $100. You'll even get the 100 if you buy somebody else's new 87 import. That got him.
Hurry, you must test drive and purchase by January 4th. Plus special factory incentives could mean a better deal. Step into the world of tomorrow with Hitachi, an innovative world of electronics, determined to take you beyond ordinary hi-fi, where exceptional sound quality is programmed into Hitachi's sophisticated compact disc player, including a laser-based system that challenges you to identify the recording from the original. That's quality. That's Hitachi.
The sight, the sound of quality, a leader, Hitachi.
The deep men for UCLA, Carnell Lake, number 31, and number 2, Darrell Henley. As you get a view of the shot of the Goodyear blimp Columbia. And it's pilot Charles Russell from Downey, California. Our cameraman tonight, Don Pearsall from Costa Mesa, California. Henley at the 5. Wrestled to the ground hard by the BYU Cougars. Making the play for BYU, number 32, Mike O'Brien.
Let's see what the Bruins do now. Let's see the quarterback situation. Stevens has got to come back out and start all over again from scratch, maintain his composure, and get this offense rolling.
So the Bruins, last time they had the ball, they turned it over. See what Matt Stevens and company can do. The pitch to Gaston Green. Great gain on first down, about 9, maybe close to 10 yards. Jeff Wilcox, the free safety, was in there first. You know, BYU does not give up much ground yardage, as Paul Palmer of Temple found out earlier this year.
You watch Green now. He's a slashing type runner. He reads his blocking very well. He's an excellent cutback runner. He'll start out wide to the left or right, then come back up inside as you see Hobbs bring him down. But he's an excellent running back.
Pickup of 9 on the play. 2nd down and 1. Good gambling down of UCLA, but they go the conservative route. Marcus Greenwood for a first down across the 35 to the 40-yard line. A pickup of about 6 yards on the play. Good block up front by Jim Alexander.
The offensive line for the Bruins has really been more or less reconstructed for this ball game due to injuries and the flu bug and so forth and so on. Different guys are playing different positions. Joe Goebel, the normal center, has moved over to right guard, and Warnick, normally the left tackle, is now playing right, so they're going to have a stiff contest ahead of them tonight.
1st and 10 Bruins at their own 40-yard line. Green straight ahead. Now you know why the young man is a Heisman Trophy favorite going into 87. Andy Katoa brings him down, but not before Gaston Green picks up 12 yards and a first down.
The thing that BYU likes to do as we watch it again, now watch Green. He'll start out to his right. He'll take a far handoff. Now watch him come all the way back right towards the camera, right towards us now. What that does, he starts to his right. He gets the flow of the linebackers going to their left. Now they've got to stop, come back, and try to pick him up. And believe me, I'll tell you, Green has great quick feet. He's a tough guy to bring down once he gets outside.
Paco Craig and Flipper Anderson out wide to the right side for UCLA. Stevens laying it out there, and this is going to be intercepted. Shane Shumway on the return. Stevens just laid it up there for Flipper Anderson, and Shane Shumway looked like a kid at Christmas saying, "Bring it here, Mama, I waited for this all year."
Well, that's a problem that Stevens has, and a lot of times in a lot of ball games, he does not really read the defense and hit that man with a bullet pass. He just lays it up.
So BYU, their 2nd turnover. We'll be back after these words from your local station.
Knicks basketball alive at the Garden. It's more than just a game.
My head was down, I was feeling low. It was Saturday morning, my transmission wouldn't go, so I called up Gibraltar.
Fix it fast, fix it right.
Got me cruising on a Saturday night. Gibraltar got me cruising on a Saturday night. Cruising with Gibraltar, holding my honey real tight. Cruising with Gibraltar.
Donahue in his 11th season at UCLA, and Lavelle Edwards in his 15th year at Brigham Young. Bruins have turned it over twice, a fumble and an interception. BYU's ball. Mooley pounded as soon as he took the handoff by Greg Boland. Also helping out on the play, number 98, Eric Smith. There he is. He's made 2 big tackles thus far in the ball game.
One thing that BYU wants to do, they want to be able to run the ball. Now watch the activity of the linebackers for UCLA. They flow very well, and the one thing they do as good as anybody is they fill the gaps in a hurry.
Loss of a yard, 2nd down 11 for Brigham Young, their own 28-yard line. Blitz is on, and Jensen on a roll. By Carnell Lake, but he ran into his teammate Greg Boland, or Rutledge, one of the two.
Yes, both of them were there. You're exactly right. He's trying to go to Bellini on a curl in route, but I'll tell you what, he tried to force that ball into coverage. You can't do that. Again, remember, he's a young quarterback, only his 2nd start, but good coverage by the Bruins in the secondary. One thing that they will try and do tonight, Howard, is they will try and disguise their man-to-man and their zones and make it very, very difficult. There he is, Craig Rutledge, who is considered as a coach on the field.
David Miles and Craig Cutler in as wideouts for BYU, 3rd and 11. Jensen with a lot of time. Parker on the reception. Far short of a 1st down. He's brought down at the 31-yard line. I believe Ken Norton was in on the play, and it's going to bring up 4th down in the punting unit, and Pat Thompson comes on the field.
If anything was wrong with that last play, it was that Jensen had just too much time to throw the football.
Darrell Henley, the lone man back for UCLA. They show 10 men on the line of scrimmage. As Pat Thompson with a 41.5-yard punting average. Hits it low. Henley wisely lets it roll and stops dead at around the 29-yard line. A 40-yard punt with no return. And the BYU Cougars leading Freedom Bowl 3-0. We'll come back in just a moment.
Alpha team, aggressor tank spotted.
In a battle drill, you need horsepower, firepower, people power. That's teamwork.
Moving tank, track front, 2,000.
This team uses a computer, thermal sight, laser rangefinder.
Ah! Yeah! All that you can.
We win, the whole tank wins. The whole team wins, not just one person.
Find your future in the Army.
The leader in long-distance service now costs less. AT&T has lowered weekday and evening prices 13.8%, the largest single reduction in our history, but not the first. Since 1984, our prices overall have dropped more than 20%. Of course, you can always look to AT&T for the highest quality service, and now, see where our prices have gone. AT&T, the right choice.
UCLA with the ball, trailing 3-0. They'll start this drive at their own 29-yard line. Gaston Green. That's 6 yards on the play. Brought down by Corey Rasmussen, the strong safety. Boy, Gaston Green, I started to say earlier about Paul Palmer of Temple, who finished runner-up to Vinny Testaverde in the Heisman balloting. Palmer got, what, about 65 yards against Brigham Young. And that was the main concern for Terry Donahue. Would Gaston Green be able to punctuate that line or puncture that BYU defense? Gain of 6, 2nd down and 4. Green on the option. First down and a lot more across the 45-yard line. Brought down by Shane Shumway, who has 1 interception. Also, Jeff Wilcox helping out.
He's just such a smooth runner now. In order to be able to do this, a little fake fullback dive, option pitch, does a great job, gets by Sean Knight. Now watch Green run. He makes a nice move back inside, almost keeps his feet before Shumway actually knocks him down and puts a stop to him.
Gaston Green, 5 carries, 44 yards. And we're still in the first quarter with 7:51 to play. Brigham Young leading it 3-0. Carl Durrell on wide to the left. Flipper Anderson to the right side. The reverse. Durrell. might go the distance. Carl Durrell brought down inside the 5 at the 3-yard line by Andy Katoa, but not before senior Carl Durrell rambles 50 yards and a first down.
Well, that's one way of getting outside. Donahue, Coach Terry Donahue wanted to get outside. A little toss, reverse sweep. He tossed it to Green. Give it to Durrell coming back on a weak side. He makes a nice move inside there. Breaks a couple of tackles. Heads downfield. Oh, he gets one good block here by Tennell. He will score. Tennell doesn't see number 3, Rodney Thomas. If he goes and gets Thomas and knocks him down, that's a touchdown for the Bruins.
UCLA's ball, first and goal at the 3. They bring in Joe Pickard, another tight end, and Danny Thompson on this goal line situation. Gaston Green with a block, touchdown. So the heavily favored UCLA Bruins take the lead. Big play, the 50-yard scamper by Carl Durrell set up a 3-yard touchdown by Gaston Green.
There he is, number 44. I'll tell you, came in at a nice ball game with 1,139 yards, averaging 5.2 yards a pop. You watch him run and you wonder, is he going full forward? Is he going 100%? But I'll tell you what, he's a glider. He's so smooth.
The Bruins go 71 yards in 4 plays, 50 coming on Durrell's run. All on the ground, I might add, the 71 yards. David Franey out of the hold of David Clinton for the extra point. So the Bruins take the lead for the first time in Freedom Bowl 3, and here's Gaston Green again.
There he goes. Watch him take the toss. Now watch him as he glides. He gets in behind his blockers. Now he makes a decision to go for the pylon, right to the corner, beat that defensive man inside, and that's what he does. Right there at the corner. Great job of running by Gaston Green.
So Terry Donahue looking for his 5th straight bowl win. His Bruins are on top by 4.
Mitsubishi.
My brother needed a new truck. I told him Mitsubishi Mighty Max is Chrysler and Toyota, Nissan or Mazda. Then Sis wanted one with extras. Mighty Max Sport, I said. Next I said, before you buy, test drive a Mitsubishi. They'll give you $100. You'll even get the 100 if you buy somebody else's new 87 import. That got him.
Hurry, you must test drive and purchase by January 4th. Plus special factory incentives could mean a better deal.
Watch this. I talk, and my words appear on the screen. This is an experimental IBM computer system. It recognizes thousands of words, even words that sound the same. Please write to Mrs. Wright right now. Another innovation from IBM and the most advanced voice recognition system of its kind, period.
Tomorrow afternoon, 1 o'clock Eastern Time, Virginia Tech's Hokies against the North Carolina State Wolfpack in the Peach Bowl. We'll have it for you on Mislu TV Sports. Ray Scott and Lee Corso and Steve Grant will be there to cover all the action. Wes Denton the kickoff to BYU's Mike O'Brien or Robert Parker. Going to be O'Brien fielding it at the 5. Mike O'Brien, 45 yards on the return. Jack, I'll tell you, if he laid back a little bit, he might have broke that for the distance.
Well, so what happens so often is that when that guy with the ball gets up in there and he smells a little room, as you watch it right here. Let's start him from the beginning now. He gets up into the wedge in a hurry, and that's what you want your returner to do. Get up into the wedge. Now watch him, see if he outruns or overruns his blocking. Set in there and stay in there behind him until something happens. Let them knock a guy down, then make your break. Don't bounce off of them. Don't misuse them.
That is the way to set up a drive. Ball square in midfield for Brigham Young's Cougars. Jensen on first down hits Bellini, who goes into Devil's Canyon and gets whacked at the 40-yard line. Brought down by Craig Rutledge, a pickup of 12. Let's go to our colleague, Greg Wyatt.
Howard and Jack, with us is John Lee, and this young man definitely knows about the BYU-UCLA series. Had 4 field goals in the winning effort a couple years ago. What do you think of this game?
Well, I tell you, I have a roommate of mine, David Frayne, is kicking for UCLA right now. I just wish him the best, and also the UCLA Bruins.
This is going to be a rivalry whose time really has come now.
Yeah, I think so. They beat us my freshman or sophomore year, I believe, and then we beat them at Pro Bowl. And this is going to be the third opportunity for us. I think if we play well, I think we should be able to beat them.
John Lee, former UCLA kicker, now in the National Football League. Back up to the booth.
Greg Boland makes the stop on Robert Parker. Remember John Lee last year at the Senior Bowl at the banquet the night before the game. Bo Jackson was seated next to John Lee. Look at the rushing statistics thus far. Of course, a lot of that is Gaston Green. But 50 came on one run by Terrell. Anyway, I'll continue that story. Let's set up the BYU offense. Richard Zayas out wide to the left side. Bellini in the slot. Now Bellini in motion. Haluli and Parker the setbacks. Play fake Jensen. He wants it all, and this one could have been picked off by UCLA's Daryl Henley. There is a flag on the play, and it could be pass interference against BYU.
Yeah, I think that's what they may be pass interference. I'm not sure. There's going to be definitely pass interference. Bellini, yes, it is against BYU. Bellini never saw the defender. He's looking at the ball all the way, following it in, and he never sees the right cornerback, and I believe that was Daryl Henley who came up to try to make the interception.
Daryl Henley looked like he was trying to bat it down right from the beginning. I thought he had a shot at an interception. It's going to cost BYU some yardage. Anyway, John Lee seated next to Bo Jackson last year at the Senior Bowl dinner, and each player had to stand up and introduce themselves, and Lee stood up and said, Bo Jackson, Auburn University. There's a little difference in size. Lee's about, what, 5'8"?
Yeah, he's not a real big guy, but I tell you what a great leg he had in college.
J.C. Louderback, the referee.
Pass interference on the offense. Loss of down. Third down.
In addition to losing the real estate, as you get a shot from our Goodyear airship, Columbia. Tonight's officials, J.C. Louderback, the referee. Not only did BYU lose real estate, they lose it down as well. It's now third down and 21. All the officials are from the Big Eight, by the way, as Bellini comes in motion. Bellini far short of a first down. Chased out of bounds by Carnell Lake, the left outside linebacker. UCLA playing that very well, particularly the linebackers.
Now you watch him roll out right here. One thing that Jensen has got to get away from, and that's looking for Bellini all the time, and that's what he's doing, and it's going to get him in trouble later on in the ball game, because UCLA, they will give him that pass up front. They'll allow that to take place and allow that to happen, but they will not let him go deep.
Daryl Henley waiting Pat Thompson's punt. And he hangs it up perfectly. Fair catch called for by Henley. It's hit at the 5. And they're going to bring this one out to the 20-yard line. Tough break for Brigham Young, and maybe the loneliest man on the field right there, number 50, Reagan Hansen, the linebacker. That was a 44-yard punt with no return, obviously. Hansen hit it at the 5 and knocked it into the end zone.
They're a little bit upset with themselves because they should have downed that ball somewhere between the 5-yard line and the goal line, and the Cougars know that, and they let one get away and lost 15 big yards.
BYU started that last drive at the 50-yard line after Mike O'Brien ran back a kickoff, 45 yards.
Roger French, the offensive coordinator for BYU.
UCLA in front 7-3. Stevens still has it. It's deflected in the air. Tremendous play by, I believe it was Sean. Was it Sean Knight? No, wait a minute.
It may have been Andy Katoa. There was a 7 in there, no question on that.
Richard Hobbs. Richard Hobbs, 57, the strong side linebacker. Stevens 0 for 3. He's had one ball picked off as Bob Garibaldi comes into the game. Bob Garibaldi's dad, one-time pitcher for the San Francisco Giants, now a basketball official in the Pac-10. Second down and 10, Bruins. Gaston Green. Hobbs turned it in, and Katoa
cleaned it up.
Cleaned it up, that's right. Reagan Hansen, number 50, also in on the play.
I love to watch Matt Stevens. I've seen him several times through the course of the year, and he's a dead giveaway by his face. You watch the expressions on his face. You'll know exactly when he's happy, when he's up, when he's down, if things are going well or they're not going well.
Right now, things are going pretty well for the Bruins. They lead at 7-3. 5:05 to play, first quarter. Gaston Green with some blockers, but he's going to be about a yard shy of a first down. Steve Kafusi cut through to make the tackle at about the 29-yard line, which would give the Bruins 4th down and a yard. And Stevens in the offense, of course, says, come on, coach, let me go for it.
Well, they want to go, but the thing that got them in trouble in that last drive or that last series was the very first play. Now, you know, Stevens is not a real tall guy. On first down, UCLA has got to make positive yardage if they want to stay and increase their lead or stay in this ballgame and do well.
Mike O'Brien, who's already returned one kickoff 45 yards, awaiting the punt of Harold Barkate. His first punt of the night. Fair catch called for by O'Brien at the 29-yard line, a 42-yard punt.
By O'Brien.
We have 4:15 to play first quarter. You've just tuned our way. I'm Howard David with Jack Snow. Greg Wyatt handling the sideline patrol tonight. Brigham Young scored first. A 32-yard field goal by Leonard Chitty. UCLA countered with a 4-play, 71-yard drive, highlighted by a 50-yard run by UCLA's Carl Durrell, and capped off with a 3-yard touchdown run by Gaston Green. Right into the face of Bob Jensen. Movement on the UCLA side of the ball. It's going to cost the Bruins 5. Or were they drawn off?
Looks like they're going to move BYU back, I think, because UCLA is not moving back.
Sometimes the bluff works, Jack.
Well,
stand there, the referee thinks you really know what's going on.
That's right. The voice inflection by the quarterback. But one thing you tell your down lineman.
Well, the bluff didn't work. It's going to cost UCLA 5 yards.
The one thing you watch your down lineman, never move. Watch that football. When a football moves, you move. Nothing is moving so far. There's a quarterback. There's no question about it. The smart thing the center does, Rodoni, is he snaps the ball as soon as he sees some penetration from Frank Batchcott, the left defensive tackle.
Lavelle Edwards told me yesterday morning, I said, what is the key, Lavelle? He said, turnovers. They've killed us all year, particularly when Washington took them apart earlier this season.
That's one thing they want to stay away from, the turnovers. It's really hurt them.
Twins to the right side. The inside handoff to Parker. Going to be enough for a first down if they mark it across the 40, which they do. Craig Rutledge, the old Pac-10 strong safety, makes the stop on Robert Parker from Alexander City, Alabama, the only BYU player to come from the state of Alabama.
Parker's a good fluid running back. He may not have the natural ability that Gaston Green does, but he's an excellent running back.
Bellini goes out wide to the left side. Along with Cutler. First down, Bellini comes in motion. Mooley maybe a yard, and that is about all. He's dropped immediately by Greg Boland. Speaking of Gregs, let's go to our colleague, Greg Wyatt.
Thank you very much. If you wonder why this fellow next to me is smiling, Dwayne Lindbergh is the assistant commissioner of the Pac-10. 6 bowl teams.
We're very happy. We've got 1 win so far. We are hoping for a couple more. UCLA looks good right now, and looks like it's been a good offensive game. A big crowd here tonight in Anaheim, and we're hoping the Bruins pull out another Pac-10 win.
Dwayne, thanks for being with us. The Bruins are ahead. It would be a big night for the Pac-10. Now let's go back up to the booth.
Second down play. Jensen chased out of bounds. Maybe he got back to the line of scrimmage, and it's going to bring up a third down play as the clock stops with 3:04 remaining. First quarter at the 3rd Freedom Bowl in Anaheim. Howard David and Jack Snow, along with Greg Wyatt, bringing you all the play-by-play.
Wasn't a real smooth transition from the center to the quarterback on that last play, and Lavelle doesn't look very, very happy on. He's talking about what's happening here. What's the communication? He snapped it too soon. But remember, now the guy playing that is Brian Rodoni.
Some of the players that we're seeing here tonight will be playing in the East-West Shrine game. We'll have it for you on Mislu, January the 10th, 3 o'clock Eastern time. East-West Shrine game, great tradition in postseason. Parker in motion. Ball was thrown way upstairs. Darrell Henley defending on Robert Parker, and it's going to bring up 4th down.
Well, he had Parker on that little flat route. Parker came out of the backfield, ran a little sideline. He had him open. Just didn't get the ball to him. A little bit too high. Parker is a good receiver. Caught 37 passes this year.
Darrell Henley, number 2, back for UCLA. This is the 3rd punt of the night for Pat Thompson. During the year, averaged not quite 42 yards per kick. Sends a spiral Henley's way. Henley lets it go, and BYU is going to down it at the 4-yard line. A 57-yard punt with the roll, down by Troy Fuller for Brigham Young. As you get a look at Thor Salanoa, one of the mainstays of the BYU defense. Boy, for so long, with all the great quarterbacks, Gifford Nielsen, Mark Wilson, Jim McMahon, Steve Young, Robbie Bosco, all offensive-minded teams. Now they turn out the nation's 6th best defense.
And a guy from my era, Virgil Carter.
That's right. Virgil Carter played with the Bears, of course, following his graduation from BYU. 7-3 Bruins, but they're deep in their own territory. The way to get out is to give it to Double G, and he doesn't get but maybe 2 yards. Sliced down by Andy Katoa. Gaston Green, what a story this man is writing, and will continue to write in '87.
He's trying to get outside. He realized I can't go outside because Sean Knight's out there. When he does come back, Katoa's there to greet him and knocks him down and smacks him real quick, takes him to the ground in a hurry.
Green with 6 100-yard games, including the great effort against USC in the season finale. 2nd down and 8, Bruins. Green with a hold, gets to about the 10, maybe the 11-yard line.
Howard, I think what's happened now is that they have established, as we look at Lavelle Edwards, they being the Bruins, have established trying to get outside, which is what Donahue wants. Now I think the play selection process is going to be of extreme importance. Not run your fullback up inside, go back to the ball control passing situations.
Gaston Green, 10 carries, 63 yards. Carl Durrell, who's broken 1 on a reverse for 50. He's number 8 on the right side. Flipper Anderson inside of him. They go to Green. He's going to be close to a 1st down, but I believe short. Cut down by Reagan Hansen, the middle linebacker. They're going to bring the chains, I would believe, for a measurement, but it's going to be short, and it's going to bring up 4th down.
Well, there again, there's not a whole lot of confidence in your quarterback when you don't let him throw on 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, and you've got to be able to do that. Although they're down in their area of the field, they don't want a cheap turnover and allow BYU to have good field position. That's why he did it.
All right, Mike O'Brien, who already has electrified the crowd once, will be awaiting the punt of Harold Barkate, who's only kicking for the 2nd time tonight. They brought the chains over to go through the motions of her measurement, but it's at least a yard shy. Oh, almost a yard shy, let's say that. UCLA started the season in a fashion they would soon forget. That's how close they were to a 1st down. They lost to Oklahoma 38-3. Since that time, they've had a rather fine season. Surprise loss to Stanford, I guess, bothered them a little bit. They came back with an excellent tie with Washington. Not that a tie is anything you want to have, but nevertheless, Washington a good club. And the big win over USC in the final regular season game. Rushes on, he runs into the kicker. O'Brien lets it hit. Barkate was run into. Trying to get a fix on who it was. I thought maybe it was Tim Knight, 76. We'll get another look at it.
Remember now, when he's extended after he makes that kick, after he punts the ball, he's completely vulnerable. Let's see if the ball is tipped at all by the man rushing from BYU. The ball is off his foot. Looks like it sneaks by him. It doesn't look like there's any contact, and he gets smacked really well. He gets hit hard by number 76, Tim Knight.
The 53-yard punt by Barkate will be erased, and UCLA will maintain possession of the football because of this play.
There it is again right there. Boy, he takes a pop, too. Boy, he really gets smacked, and he bounces back up, but that's his job. If he sees that coming, hang in the air, be a ballet dancer, and take one for the team.
Personal foul, roughing the kicker on the defense, automatic 1st down.
I'm sure that Harold Barkate doesn't consider it roughing the kicker. I think he might go a little stronger than roughing.
He's a theater arts major at UCLA.
So UCLA's ball, they lead it 7-3 with 1 minute and 1 second remaining first quarter at Freedom Bowl 3. Bruins go with 2 tight ends. The pitch to Gaston Green. It's Gaston Green left, Gaston Green right. Brad Cahoon makes the stop for the Cougars.
The adjustment that the Cougars of BYU have made defensively, they're having their 2 outside people, Jason Buck and Sean Knight. Rather than charge straight across or come down, they're having to take an outside charge to the outside eye of that offensive tackle, which will keep you wider naturally.
Hanno Zwaneveld comes in at right guard for the Bruins in place of Joe Goebel. Zwaneveld has been riddled with strep and the flu in recent days. What a block. Unfortunately, it just bought Matt Stevens a little time. Thor Salanoa chased him out of bounds. But I'll tell you, Sean Knight had only one thing in his mind, to tear Stevens' head off.
Yeah, he came at him pretty good, and he just did get outside of him, he being Matt Stevens.
So there's a break in the action as we've come to the end of the first quarter. The Bruins lead 7-3 now. This word.
My winter vacation. Yep, I want to get far away from high tech, high finance, and high anxiety. I want to ski, swim, skate, work out in a health club, and see a different top-name entertainer every night. I've got it! The Concorde!
Honey, did you leave the computer on?
I never get to have any fun.
For information, call the Concorde at 1-800-431-3850.
Do you do this every morning?
Marcy, when you finally get serious.
Charles, you're gonna be so proud of me. I just got us a date with 2 of the most...
I can't tonight. I have to study for my philosophy midterm.
Maybe this will refresh your libido. I submit to you a photograph of, ta-da, the beautiful Del Fluvio sisters.
Buddy, there aren't enough hours in the day for me to eat, sleep, and to meet these girls. Now, I hate to say it, but I'm gonna have to give up sleeping.
Scott Baio stars in the all-new Charles in Charge.
Premiere Saturday night at 7:30 on Channel 11.
UCLA sophomore punter is okay. He was roughed up. He's just been taking a couple practice kicks here. He's all right. Dr. Jerry Feineman says he will be okay and will stay in the game.
Okay, Greg Wyatt, thank you. Carl Durrell and Willie Anderson go out wide to the left side for the UCLA Bruins as we begin the second quarter. Freedom Bowl 3. And we welcome you. Stevens on the play fake. Makes the connection to Willie Anderson shy of the 40-yard line. Brought down by Jeff Wilcox, the free safety. We call him Flipper. All Pac-10 honorable mention this year. Going to be shy of a first down. When the punting unit comes on, Barkate, as Greg Wyatt indicated, is okay and will punt for UCLA to Mike O'Brien. He's the man on the right side of your screen, and he is dangerous. Barkate would soon forget the last time he punted as he sails this one. A wobbly spiral fielded by O'Brien at the 23 and hit immediately by number 27, Alan Dial. A 38-yard punt, a 1-yard return. UCLA leading BYU 7-3.
The jellyfish swims faster than that.
Not with a clogged nose like this.
Oh, try this.
Sidex, I need help now.
You got it. Hit this when you feel it.
1 second.
With Sinex Vapors, you feel better in 1 second. Plus, it's strong decongestant, keeps you breathing free for hours.
And you're gonna need it for hours.
Whoa!
Sinex, regular or long-lasting. Feeling better is a second away. From Vicks, of course.
So the issue is clear. Sony Video 8, the system of the future,
or VHS-C, the compromise of the past. Now, as we've seen, the new Sony Handycam with autofocus and zoom gives you a measurably better picture, far superior sound, twice the recording time, and on Sony video cassettes, your memories are safe. While on VHS-C, they could be fleeting. I rest my case.
The Sony Video 8 system. Judge for yourself.
Asia after 60,000 miles. Europe after 40,000. Continental U.S. only 20,000 miles. Look whose frequent flyer program serves up the world faster.
UCLA dominating the total yardage thus far, although they only lead 7-3. Inside handoff to Bruce Hansen, who's come in the game at fullback. Bruce, of course, has his brother Reagan, the sophomore middle linebacker. Bruce, the senior. The two young men from American Fork, Utah.
Watch the overhead shot right here. Now, this is a little backward, forward, underhand draw. Just a delay type draw to Hansen. He gets up in there, but I'll tell you what, the Bruin linebackers, in particular 41 Ken Norton Jr., really read it very well.
Bob Jensen, the quarterback for BYU, thus far 6 of 10 for 48 yards. Second down and 10. Brigham Young Cougars, and the Bruins showing a little bit of blitz, and Jensen with a play fake. Hansen should have had it. It would have been enough for a first down. Hansen has made 19 receptions this year, so he has been used as a target. But that one should have been caught, all wide receivers know, huh?
Absolutely, no question about that. And BYU, you're right, Howard. They use their backs a lot in their passing scheme. You know, with Hemulius caught 41, Hansen 19, Robert Parker 37, so they are very much a part of their passing game.
Ken Norton thus far 6 tackles for the UCLA Bruins. The outstanding linebacker. 13:30 remaining second quarter. A third down play and a deep drop by Jensen. Nearly intercepted by Darrell Henley, the right cornerback. Well, turnabout's fair play. Hansen should have caught the last ball, and Henley knows he should have had that interception.
Well, that's the thing that scares me a little bit for BYU about Bob Jensen, is he went again to Bellini. And I'll tell you one thing, David Miles was wide open running down that sideline because Darrell Henley, number 2, the cornerback, dropped him like a sore hot thumb.
So Pat Thompson will punt it away, number 17. Fair catch. Called for by Gifford Irvine. A 36-yard punt with no return. The Bruins will go on offense, and we'll come back after these messages from your local station.
An automobile is purchased from an authorized dealer, not the manufacturer. Should you lease a car, the source must be reliable. As for service, satisfaction is the criterion. Ray Catena offers 100 cars on display in a magnificent showroom. Ray Catena sells and leases directly to you, and the service department is first class. The car speaks for itself.
Have you ever wondered why knowledgeable women from all over the world come to this small town of Flemington, New Jersey to purchase their furs? They know that at Flemington Furs, they find that unbeatable combination of extraordinary selection, superior quality, outstanding fashion, uncommon service, and exceptional value. Come see for yourself. See why once you visited Flemington Furs, you'll never buy furs anywhere else. Flemington Fur, Flemington, New Jersey, open Sunday and every day.
Edwards has sent many of his players to the Senior Bowl in Mobile, Alabama. We'll have it for you on Mizlu TV Sports, 1 o'clock Eastern time on January the 17th. Stevens complete to Durrell, the flanker, for a first down. Rodney Thomas chased him out after a pickup of 13 yards. Durrell has made 29 receptions in 1986, but 102 in his career. Third on the all-time UCLA list. Mike Sherrod at 128, Cormac Carney with 108, and Durrell with 102 career for tonight.
You know, here's Matt Stevens right now. A little waggle action to his left. Now, this is a good pass. He sets up in fine fashion. He gets that hand up in the air and delivers the ball to Durrell, who's running an out pattern. Nice execution by both quarterback and receiver.
Bruins with the ball in Cougar territory at the 49-yard line. Again, the play fake, and Stevens wants it all. He's got him out there. Dropped right in his lap. Willie Anderson had it in his lap.
It was there. You're right. It was there.
Shane Shumway was beaten by Willie Anderson.
That's the guy that BYU has got to remain concerned about is Flipper. Now, he's going to run a go route. You're going to watch the ball now. Watch as it comes down into Flipper's arms. There it is. Make a basket. You see his head. He did not follow the ball into his arms, and that's why he dropped it. He did not follow all the way in.
Spoken like a true wide receiver. Second down and 10 Bruins at the 49 of BYU. Gaston Green, maybe a yard, perhaps a little bit more. Sean Knight stopped him, along with Andy Katoa. You know, Jason Buck deservedly has received a lot of acclaim this year. He won the Allen Trophy and so on. And a great tackle for Brigham Young at 6'6", 270. But Sean Knight, number 77, as you can see, occupies a lot of the screen that you're watching the show on.
When we get
it's pretty good.
Yeah, when we get an uptight shot, he's got a 21.5-inch neck, and it gets bigger as he works out.
Third down and 8, UCLA. Out of the shotgun, Stevens fumbled it, and there's going to be a penalty marker thrown on the play. 33, Thor Salanoa made the tackle, but there was a flag thrown. And they may call a procedure call against UCLA. Let's see. Legal procedure is the call against the Bruins. So obviously Brigham Young, given the option, will take the play, not the penalty, and it'll bring up fourth down.
Procedure on the offense. It's declined. Fourth down.
So the Bruins will kick it away. Harold Barcade and company will come on, and nothing that Matt Stevens is going to say to J.C. Louderback is going to change his mind. The jury is in, and the verdict just came in, and Mike O'Brien drops back deep for Brigham Young. This will be Barcade's third punt of the night. O'Brien has returned one kickoff from 50 yards, if you've just tuned in, to set up Brigham Young at the 50-yard line, but the Cougars could not move the ball. We have 12:18 remaining in the second quarter. Howard David, Jack Snow, and Greg Wyatt at the Big A in Anaheim. This is quite a ballpark. They do some. I've been here for a baseball game back in August to see the California Angels play. And you see the configuration for football. It's really quite a setting. Was on, and Knight runs into the kicker, but that was a fake job. O'Brien fair catches the ball at the 17-yard line. A 40-yard punt by Harold Barcade. No return on the fair catch called for. So we're midway through the second quarter, and the Bruins on top by 4.
If you just ask for a light beer,
give me a light.
You never know what you'll get.
Dogs. No, actually, Bud Light.
So if you want the less filling light beer with the first name and taste, ask for Bud Light.
Yours? No.
Because everything else...
Give me a light. Showtime.
...is just a light.
Hey, that was a great answer. Where'd you learn about computers?
In the Army.
You were in the Army?
Yeah.
And now they're helping pay your way through college.
How come you know so much?
How do you think I got here?
Qualify for the GI Bill and the Army College Fund and earn $17,000 for college for only a 2-year enlistment, or $25,200 for a 4-year enlistment.
What you doing here?
Airborne.
You were airborne?
Find your future in the Army.
You used to jump out of airplanes?
You know, I told this man yesterday, I said, Terry, you and I are 3 weeks apart in age, but you look a whole lot better. I mean, there's another Dick Clark guy right there. This guy never ages.
You know, he's held his age remarkably well down through the years, especially having the head job in his 11th year. And this is a tough job to have here.
Bellini wide to the right for Brigham Young. They go to Hansen, who tries to turn the corner and picks up maybe 8 or 9. Chased out of bounds by Chucky Miller, the left quarterback. But Hansen runs it out to about the 25-yard line, which would set up a second down at about 2.
Again, we talk about the running backs for BYU. Hansen with an outstanding average, averaging 5.7 yards per crack with a long run of 44. So all their guys run the ball very well. Hansen with over 400 yards rushing, as well as 19 receptions.
Bellini wide to the right and Jimmy Edwards wide to the left side. Second down on the yard. Hey, Mooley came out of the chute like one of those steers you see at a rodeo. And then he exploded out of there for 13 yards. Alan Dial brought him down, but Lorque Heimuli came right through the chute.
He's going to explode right up in behind Rodoni, and Chris Muttow, the left guard in the center, does a great job. Boy, he gets right up in there, heads north and south, and that's what you runners do, and head north and south.
Zayas goes wide right. Edwards wide to the left. Hanley, the tight end, in motion. Heimuli again, only this time he gets about 2 yards, maybe 3, to about the 42-yard line. Let's go to Greg Wyatt.
You know, the first 2 games were relatively high-scoring games. This one relatively low-scoring, and both coaches said it would be a high-scoring affair. Iowa beat Texas 55-17 in the first Freedom Bowl. In Freedom Bowl 2, it was Washington beating Colorado by a score of 20-17. So far, it's 7-3, but BYU is moving.
Of course, that first Freedom Bowl game, Chuck Long just wrote the Freedom Bowl record book that will hold up for a long time. I'd have to believe that. 6 touchdown passes.
He had a good day. There was no, I was here for that ball game. I saw both Texas and Iowa, and it was outstanding play by the Iowa Hawkeye football team.
Terry Donahue was saying yesterday, I polled both of the coaches, Donahue and Lavelle Edwards, and asked them, as you look at Lavelle Edwards, I asked them what their feelings were on a college football playoff, and they're both in agreement. Neither one wants to see one.
I agree with that. I heard him say that, but I'll tell you, I talked with Roger French, the offensive coordinator for BYU. He'd love to have one.
Terry Donahue, 4 consecutive New Year's Day appearances, 4 straight wins on New Year's Day. Only Bobby Dodds won 5, I think, 5 in a row, and the great Bear Bryant won 4 in a row. New Year's Day appearances, so Donahue is in some pretty exciting company.
Well, the Bruins have the best record in the 80s in bowl competition. They're outstanding. They've 4 for 4.
BYU with the best record period in the 80s. They've won more games than any other major college. Parker. Nifty move by Robert Parker. He fumbles the ball but out of bounds as he was brought down by Ken Norton. Nice piece of running by Robert Parker. Reminds me of the way he runs, similar to Robert Levette, who had a great career at Georgia Tech and now with the Dallas Cowboys. There's Parker, 43.
Parker's a nice, smooth runner. Also, got a great block from the left guard, Chris Muttow, that time, and did an outstanding job of reading the block, cutting it back up inside.
There you see the vital stats of Parker, 6'3", 190 pounds, smooth runner. First down, Brigham Young at the 50-yard line. Out of the pro set. Hansen, they're about 4 or 5. Tackled on the play by 58 Jeff Glesser.
Watch a little quick reverse spin inside handoff, and the key to that run was that Terry Toomey, the nose guard, slants over to the left side, vacating the area and allowing the back to run right up and through where he was.
Gain of 5. It'll bring up second down and 5 for BYU as Bellini goes wide to the right side. Good grab by Darren Handley, and a first down. Brigham Young at about the 31-yard line. Craig Rutledge, the strong safety, brings down Hanley after a pickup of 14 yards. Boy, is he big, 6'2", 2 1/4, and looks bigger than that.
And he's only a sophomore. Yeah, he does look a lot larger than that. That was a great touch pass by Bob Jensen. He was under extreme pressure as he rolled to his right. Nice job of just lobbing that ball in there.
Of course, Hanley replaced Trevor Molini at the starting tight end spot.
Watch the touch. See him drop it over the outside linebacker right into Hanley. Great camera shot. Nice pass by Jensen.
First down, Brigham Young. Pump fake. Jensen intercepted in the end zone by 24, Marcus Turner.
Going for Richard Zahas, but threw the ball short. He had Zahas open, but he couldn't get the ball upfield far enough.
First turnover recorded by the Bruins. Been the single thing that's hurt Brigham Young all season, the turnovers. That ball was underthrown. The ball was thrown a second or two sooner. Maybe it was a touchdown, but Turner, Marcus Turner, coming up with the turnover.
Well, the key is what you said earlier, the turnovers. You know, BYU, they're at a -18 for the season, which means they have given the ball up to the opposition 18 additional times as you watch it right here. The receiver, Zayas, comes back and tries to knock it down, but he's just too deep. Does a good job. But Turner's there in proper position, makes the interception, cradles it in, and goes down.
UCLA ball, they lead it 7-3. Across the 25-yard line. They bring it back to the 25. A pickup of 5 for Marcus Greenwood, the senior from Bakersfield. A reminder, this program is authorized by the Mizzlou Television Network solely for the entertainment of our audience. And any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this event, including the imposition of a charge for viewing the program without the express written consent of Mizzlou TV Sports, is prohibited. Second down and 5, Bruins. Gaston Green. What a cutback. He ran a lot of east-west. That's a long way to run to pick up 4 yards. Jeff Wilcox finally tracked him down, number 14.
A great cutback runner, but once in a while what will happen is, like you said, it will get you, definitely get you in trouble, and they should have just broke that about 4 steps sooner and taken it straight up the field. Notice that John Kidder, number 70, has moved in at right tackle for the Bruins, replacing Russ Warnick.
Joe Pickard in the game for UCLA. Third down on the yard. Goes to Durrell and a first down. Could not keep his balance, trying to tiptoe down the sidelines, but he picks up a first down. Shumway chased him out of bounds. A 14-yard gain on the play for Carl Durrell, who, if you've just tuned in, broke a 50-yarder earlier to set up the Bruins touchdown.
You see him snap his fingers right there to his leaving. He knows what he, by that he's saying to himself, darn it, I should have been able to turn up the sidelines and go all the way for a score.
Lavelle Edwards. Right now, things aren't going too well for his Cougars. Gaston Green. If Katoa doesn't grab his shirt, Gaston Green is going to go in for a touchdown. Green, 15 carries for 91 yards. The last one of 15 and a first down. This is only the first half.
Well, you know, we talked to him yesterday, and he was really upset that last year he only got 55 yards against BYU. And he said, this year I'm going for over 100. The guy said, can I take that to the bank? He says, absolutely.
Had the best day of any UCLA back in history against arch rival USC. Play fake. Stevens wants it all. He's got Durrell. Terrific defensive play by Shane Shumway. Shumway has been beaten once tonight, and he got away with it. That time he came up with the big play.
He did. The ball hung up there just a little bit too long and allowed Shumway to recover after he was beaten, but he did a nice job of recovering, going up over the top of the receiver to knock the ball down.
Paco Craig comes into the game for the UCLA Bruins at flanker. Anderson goes out wide to the left and Craig to the right.
You see, now watch the ball. The ball's really up there an awful long time, which allows Shumway to come back. Durrell did have him beat.
Second down and 10. Gaston Green. That first step is a killer. Richard Hobbs makes the stop on Green, who now closes in on 100 yards in the first half with still 7:37 to play.
Green's not a big guy, Howard. Only 5'10", 190-pounder, but I'll tell you what, he does the most with it. He's very compact. He's built extremely well. He has great body balance. As we look at Terry Downey, who's getting happier as this drive goes on.
Downey's turned out some greats. Kenny Easley, Jerry Robinson, John Lee, Freeman McNeil. Give you the list will continue for the rest of the half. Green already has the Freedom Bowl rushing record with 99 yards. This puts him over 100. But there's a penalty marker on the play and around the 25-yard line. Andy Katoa chases Green out of bounds. There is a flag on the play.
We may have a clip or a hold in that area where the flag was thrown. We'll have to wait and see.
Holding is the call against the Bruins, so they're going to bring this one back. So Green is going to have to wait till his next carry to get over 100 yards. Bruins thus far with 9 first downs in the ball game. Brigham Young with 6.
And we talked at the top of the program a little bit about Matt Stevens and his ability or inability. He's had a couple of long passes tonight that really were not his fault, the one that was dropped.
Holding. Offense. Still third down.
So you can't lay the whole blame on Stevens. He's done a good job tonight. As you look at him walk to the sideline right there in your lower left-hand corner, number 11. He's talking to the coaches, probably talking to Homer Smith, who's wig-wagging the signals in from the sideline.
Paco Craig with a play from the sidelines comes in at split end. Willie Anderson will go to the left side. Third down play for the Bruins. 3rd and 7. The ball at the 38 of BYU. Intended for Paco Craig, and the ball was just overthrown. Shumway was with him stride for stride. Junior from Riverside, California. Yeah, he wanted that one. Going to bring up 4th down.
Craig's a little skinny guy, only 160 pounds, but he can fly. They're really going after Shane Shumway. They're going to have to start giving him some help.
Kirk Maggio is going to come in to punt it away for UCLA to Mike O'Brien. Maggio there, number 46, the freshman from Maryland. Tries to hang it up inside the 10-yard line, and he's going to succeed as they down it just outside the 5-yard line. 6:27 remaining, 2nd quarter. The Bruins on top 7-3. Now this word from your local station.
Every day at Lee Miles, we offer you our exclusive transmission protection service. We replace the pan gasket, clean the screen, adjust linkage and bands if needed, even change the transmission fluid. All this for only $10.95. It may sound too good to be true, but we think once you meet our people and see our service, you'll make us the place you'll trust if you need transmission work. Trust. It's made Lee Miles the oldest nationwide transmission specialist.
The greatest city in the world. What better place for a university? A university with more than 19,000 students enrolled in almost 100 different majors. A university with national prominence and prestige. A university that reaches beyond its country's borders with a program that's the new standard in study abroad. College Europa. Yes, the city is New York. The university is St. John's.
Tomorrow, Ray Scott, Lee Corso, and Steve Brad will bring you the new Peach Bowl. Virginia Tech and North Carolina State. 1 o'clock Eastern time on Mislew TV Sports. Richard Zayas comes out wide to the left side. They go to Hansen with a block. Gives him a little breathing room across the 10-yard line. The fumble occurred after the play was blown dead. Greg Boland made the tackle. And James Washington helping out on the play, but Chucky Miller said, wait a minute, I recovered.
That's right, he's complaining now. Remember, the ball's got to leave him before his knee touches the ground. Hansen cuts back up inside. Is the ball loose? Yep, Well, I don't know. Is the knee down? It looks like it's going out of his grasp before that right knee hits the ground, which in the event Chucky Miller has reason to complain.
Give BYU a gain of about 7.5. Hansen for a first down across the 20-yard line. Washington and Turner combining for UCLA. Smart play by Brigham Young. Here, Hansen has just fumbled the ball. And you just, throw him back into the pool again. Here, give it to him again. Make sure he has his confidence still up.
That's right. Don't let him think about it. Just give him the ball right now. Make him run it right up the gut, right up the hole where he knows he's going to get banged on.
First down, Cougars. The ball at their own 23-yard line. They trail UCLA 7-3 with 5.5 to play, second quarter at the Freedom Bowl. Moley with that quick explosion across the 25-yard line to about the 28. In on the play was Ken Norton Jr., the interior linebacker, and Jeff Damron. Let's go now to our colleague, Greg Wyatt.
I remember it was right after the Summer Olympics when Tom Starr left the Sun Bowl to come here and try and start a bowl game in the Los Angeles area. People thought you were crazy, but looking at the attendance tonight, you may have had the right idea.
Well, we're very pleased, obviously, Greg, and we think a bowl can go here. We've got so many things: a great stadium, the weather, the entertainment entities, great recruiting area.
I know you won't have an official tally yet, but what do you think the crowd is?
Well, we sold over 57,000. Hopefully, we're right around that level.
Now let's go back up to Howard and Jack.
Okay, thank you, Tom Starr. Here's a guy that I have never seen that in all the year, and I only know Tom a few years, but I've never seen the guy with a frown on his face. Always smiling.
He's always a very up person. He's always bubbly, and he's a very positive guy, and that's why this bowl is going to be a very, very big success, and it's to guys like him.
3rd and 1. Amuli picks up a couple of yards. It's going to bring up 3rd down and a yard for Brigham Young. Zayas wide right, twin receivers to the left. Slowed up, close to a first down. Good play. Carnell Lake makes the tackle on the play, but Terry Toomey is the one that slowed him up initially.
He did. Toomey did a good job, and I think Frank Batchkoff also was in there too, and it's an excellent job by the UCLA Bruins down defensive line and the backers.
It's going to be close for a measurement.
I don't think they got it. What do you think, Howard?
I agree with you. I don't think they do. I think they're perhaps 4.3 inches.
It's about 5 lengths short.
5 lengths?
5 lengths.
That looks like
1, 2, 3, 4.
5.25 inches. 4th down. Excellent play by UCLA as it turns out, and BYU will have to kick it away. Gifford Irvine will go back in single coverage. This is the 5th punt of the night. As you look at Gifford Irvine, the 5th punt of the night for Brigham Young's Pat Thompson. Irvine looking at a lot of white shirts, and they're not friendly people. 45-yard punt by Pat Thompson. So in Freedom Bowl 3, it is UCLA leading 7-3. We'll be right back.
I raced over 1,000 miles of frozen wilderness to win the Alaskan Iditarod sled dog race. When I'm on the trail, I've got to really travel light. My dogs and everything else I took along with me had to really work, like Alka-Seltzer Plus cold medicine. It helped clear up my head, my runny nose, and ease my aches and pains. I can't afford to let a winter cold slow me down, so I use Alka-Seltzer Plus. All right, gang, let's go.
Alka-Seltzer Plus cold medicine. Fast, effective relief for tough winter colds.
Stetson, the gift that fits the man. Stetson cologne. A cologne that's easy to wear, hard to resist. Stetson fits. Hall's Mentholyptus cough tablets. Vapor action penetrates deep to help your stuffy nose feel clearer. Hall soothes your throat, helps your cough. Minwax, America's favorite wood finishes. Minwax makes it easy to get professional results. Bring out the beauty with wood finishing products by Minwax. The view from the Goodyear airship Columbia out of Carson, California. Charles Russell, the pilot, from Downey, California. Howard David, Jack Snow, and Greg Wyatt at the Freedom Bowl. And Gaston Green has already broken the Freedom Bowl record for rushing yardage. Picks up about 5 more before Richard Hobbs drops him, the strong side linebacker. Gaston Green, a junior, now with 110 yards rushing and 18 carries. Most rushing yards before today was Mike Marquez of Colorado, and that was in last year's Freedom Bowl, because he only had 10 carries. Green already has 18, and we're not even at halftime. Gaston Green to the 35, but there is a marker on the play. We may get a clipping call against UCLA after a 35-yard run by Gaston Green. They're going to bring this one back, which is a darn shame if you're a Bruin fan, because Green has got such tremendous cutback ability, but they're going to bring this one back.
I tell you, he is sweet to watch run, and I think that's going to be a clip on Carl Durrell. Carl was in pretty good position to block, and I believe it was Shane Shumway, but it was a good call.
You will not get a vote of confidence from Terry Donahue on that, but it's really a shame because you really get to see the beauty of how Gaston Green can run with a football. Here it is.
Now you be the judge. Now watch the ball right here. He takes a short pitch out from Stevens. To watch him cut up the field, now cut back, uses his blockers. He runs inside of one of his own men. Now let's see if Durrell comes in from the right with a late hit. There it is. You saw it, and that was a definite clip. There's no question. 14, Jeff Wilcox comes over there and knocks him down.
Clipping on the offense. Still first down.
Heading to be first down, and Lavelle Edwards. And you look at Lavelle and you'd say, this guy's always got this dour expression on his face. And he's really a good guy. He says, I'm happy. He said, I just can't convince my face to smile.
He's a neat guy to talk with.
He's been credited, Gaston Green, with 19 yards on that run before the penalty. Completion to Durrell for a first down at about the 46-yard line. Rodney Thomas brings him out of bounds, but a 12-yard pickup for Carl Durrell.
Stevens does a good job here. A little waggle action to his left, sets up in good time, gets the ball out to Durrell on a short out, intermediate out. Rodney Thomas comes in and closes quick. Now watch him do a little talking when they get up after that last reception.
Carl Durrell, who'll play in the Hula Bowl in postseason play, the senior from San Diego. First down, Bruins at their own 46. Eric Ball, who makes his first appearance of the night, brought down by Richard Hobbs. Eric Ball with an injury-plagued season. That left knee gave him some trouble. He had a hamstring problem, but UCLA fans will remember Eric Ball. Almost 12 months ago on New Year's Day, 86, he was the MVP of the Rose Bowl.
He hasn't carried the ball that much this year for the Bruins, coming into tonight's ball game. Only 26 carries, but averaging 4.0 yards per carry. An outstanding running back and another young one that the Bruins have.
Gain of 8, second down and 2. Ball looking for some running room. He's going to be shy of a first down if he was fortunate he got back to the line of scrimmage. David Futrell, 75, in on the play, and a timeout is called for by UCLA as they spend one of their 3 timeouts with 1:49 to play in the second quarter. If you just tuned our way, Brigham Young scored first, a 32-yard field goal by Leonard Chitty. That coming with 11:37 to play in the first quarter, following a UCLA turnover. And then the Bruins went 71 yards in just 4 plays, set up by a 50-yard run by Carl Durrell on a reverse that set up Gaston Green's 3-yard touchdown run, coming with 7:15 to play in the first quarter. The extra point made it 7-3. Gaston Green, 130 rushing yards. The entire BYU team has 58.
That's unbelievable. But remember this now, that BYU came out, and predominantly in that first quarter, they tried to throw the football. They wanted to get a good mixture of run and pass. As we look on the sideline, there's Norm Anderson waving in the air, trying to get his 2-minute drill. There we go. Now we're on the BYU side defensively to talk with Dick Felt, who's the defensive coordinator, and there's Lavelle Edwards right there to his right, checking with Jeff Wilcox, the free safety.
First time I met Lavelle Edwards was 1976, and then the Tangerine Bowl in Orlando. playing Oklahoma State, and they ran into a running back named Terry Miller that ran wild against BYU and really put the Cougars away. Ran for 180 yards. Wide to the left side, Paco Craig. James Craig is in the game. And the handoff straight ahead to Gaston Green. Jason Buck makes the stop on the play. But it looks to be enough for a UCLA first down, and it is.
Well, they got 1 minute and 43 seconds left to go for halftime. They're on the 43-yard line, plenty of time. They've got 2 timeouts left, so they've got a good short distance to go to get some scoring, whether it be a touchdown or a field goal, so there's plenty of time with 2 timeouts.
Anderson to the right. That is Carl Durrell out wide to the left side. Stevens. Durrell fell down before he completed his route. No contact. He just tripped. He was covered on the play by number 3 Rodney Thomas, but Durrell just stumbled at about the 20-yard line and could never get his route on track.
It looked like Stevens expected him to go deep on a fly pattern. As Durrell came down inside, he planted to give a little head fake inside and then slipped trying to break away to go deep and went down.
Paco Craig comes into the game for the Bruins. Carl Durrell goes out. Stevens now 4 of 11 for 45 yards. He's had 1 ball picked off on a poorly timed pass, poorly thrown ball as well. BYU showing blitz. Now they back off. Complete to Paco Craig. Excellent defense by Shane Shumway. Made the sure-handed tackle, kept Paco Craig in bounds, so UCLA is going to have to spend their second timeout.
Well, the one thing that Shumway does, and he's been picked on quite a bit, is he may not have the gift of the flat-out speed, that 4.5, 4.4, but I'll tell you what, fundamentally he's a very good cornerback. We're going to see it again now. He's going to walk out here, roll out. Now watch how Shumway comes up. He's got that head in good position, both hands around his waist, takes him down, does not lose sight of the fact that I've got to take him down or throw him out of bounds.
Well, with UCLA, the highest scoring team in the Pac-10, and Brigham Young, the toughest team to score upon in the WAC conference, you got the ideal matchup, strength against strength right now, and UCLA leading 7-3. And this reminder that we'll have the Senior Bowl for you, an all-star classic in the true sense of the word. They've had players here the last couple of years that have been top first, second, third round draft choices. Saturday, January the 17th, we'll be there at 1 o'clock Eastern time on Nizhlik TV Sports.
That's a great game because you see the guys who wind up being all pros the year on, in their later years. They do a heck of a job. It's a fun game for the guys, but also allows them to show their ability to the pro scouts.
Last year, John Opperdahl, now playing for the Miami Dolphins, had a tremendous Senior Bowl. Third down, UCLA. Play fake, Stevens. At about the 37-yard line. He's going to lose a yard on the play. Sean Knight, 77, chased him out. Knight will play in the East-West Shrine game, which we'll have for you.
I got the impression that Stevens wanted to try and stay in bounds and turn that up, which you don't want to do. They've already used two timeouts. You get that close, you can't go downfield. You got to do one of two things: throw it away, or just go out of bounds and stop the clock.
UCLA has just 1 timeout left.
Look at that big number 77. You know, his first 2 years in high school, he was on the tennis team. He played singles. And I asked him, well, how come, why'd you get away from me? He said, I couldn't play the net.
3 seconds left on the 25-second clock. They get the play off. Again, Durrell stumbles as he tried to make his move to the outside, but the ball was underthrown anyway. Salanoa defending the linebacker for Brigham Young, and it's going to set up 4th down.
Salanoa put the heat on, which made him throw that ball a little bit short. Once you roll out and you find that linebacker sitting there in your face, you want to get rid of that ball as quick as you can, otherwise you may wind up eating it.
So the gamble doesn't work on 4th down for UCLA. It'll be BYU's ball, 1st and 10 from their own 37-yard line with exactly 1 minute and 4 seconds to go first half. In the last decade, nobody moved the ball down the field better and faster than BYU in 2-minute drills. See what they can do here. Bellini in motion. Ball poorly thrown, intended for Bellini. He caught it on a short hop. Bob Jensen has been the quarterback since midway through the next to last game of the season that BYU played, the San Diego State game, which they lost, BYU did. But then he played the entire game, started against Air Force, and led him to a 23-3 win, which led BYU to the Freedom Bowl this year.
They like Jensen. They think he's going to be the quarterback of the future. They're going to get 2 good years, they hope, out of him.
Here's Jensen's stats thus far: 7 of 15 for 62 yards. Edwards said he's the best athlete he's ever had at quarterback. Mooley doesn't get out of bounds. He crossed the 35, had a chance to get out of bounds, and for some reason didn't step out.
It's called a defender, Howard. He knocked him down on his keister, and he's trying to scramble to get out, but he just couldn't quite make it.
So BYU calls for a timeout, one of the 3 that they have. And with 43 seconds to play in the second quarter, UCLA leading Brigham Young 7-3. Cougars lost 4 ball games this year. The fact they played 12 games before postseason, probably because of the fact they play Hawaii in the WAC conference. They got to make that long trip back, then the long trip, out there and then back. But 3 of their 4 losses were by a total of 14 points. The only game they really were out of was the devastating loss to Washington, where the Huskies just put them away.
And we talked about it. We've talked with writers through the course of this past week, and they seem to think that UCLA is an overwhelming choice because of comparable scores. But if you stop and look at it, in those 3 teams, and both teams have played, the wins by the Bruins and the tie to Washington and the losses by the Cougars, there's been a difference of 11 turnovers by the Cougars. You can't give up the ball 11 times to a Washington, in which they gave up 6 turnovers to the Huskies.
Jensen was 11 of 20 against Air Force for 258 yards. Led him to the win. They had over 500 yards of total offense that day. They pick up the blitz, and this time Mooley steps out of bounds, but he lost a yard. So the Bruins defending the outside very well, particularly Carnell Lake, the outside linebacker.
Lake did a good job of allowing Mooley to stay up in front of him and then forcing him to go out of bounds before he took him down so that he wouldn't have to take him down.
6th punt of the night coming up for BYU. The UCLA defense is just playing very, very well. Pat Thompson will be punting it away, and UCLA calls for a timeout, their last timeout, to give them an opportunity at least to, maybe they feel they'll get decent field position out of this and have a shot at moving the ball down the field for at least a field goal try. But there's only 39 seconds left. And by the time they get the ball back, they'll have no timeouts remaining.
They got one of 2 choices now. Can we put the rush on the punter right here? Let's go after him. Let's go after this kid, Pat Thompson, and try and block this punt, or set up and get a good solid return to put us in good field goal position or touchdown possibilities or probabilities. But we're going to have to get 2 plays. The offense will get 2 plays before they go out on the field. They'll come out firing. If nothing else, they'll try to get the ball down and at least come away with 3 points before the half.
Getting a view of the Big A Anaheim Stadium from the Goodyear Blimp Columbia. UCLA has no timeouts remaining. And with 1 man back for UCLA, Gifford Irvine, number 10. There you see him. UCLA with 10 men on the line of scrimmage, perhaps coming to try to block Pat Thompson's punt. Good snap from center, and he gets it away. Very short, he shanked it. It hits like one of my pitching wedge shots out at the 44. Both have the same trajectory. Both shanks and both stop dead.
But yeah,
20-yard punt.
But you got great form, though, don't you?
The whole object in golf is not to play well, just to look good.
That's right. Well, see, my object when I play golf is what they charge you for green fees. I want to get as many strokes as possible to see all of the course.
So UCLA, although they have no timeouts remaining, they have the ball in excellent field position at about the 44-yard line, their own. 30 seconds remaining until halftime. Thus far, UCLA leads 7-3, although they have dominated this first half. They'll go out of the shotgun.
Yes, it's green. And work the screen with it.
They work the inside handoff to Gaston Green. Inside the 40-yard line. They're going to have to hurry to the line of scrimmage, although the clock will stop as they move the chains after a 17-yard pickup and a first down for the Bruins.
You see Stevens audibleizing out there. He's going to his outside people. See him right there. He's telling them what they're going to run. He's going to run a 1 pattern. Let's see if it's a short out.
Clock moves to the 22nd mark. Looks to go to the right, and it is incomplete, intended for Gaston Green, defended by Richard Hobbs. Usually the ideal situation. A great backlight green with excellent speed, isolated on a linebacker the size of a Richard Hobbs, who doesn't move quite as well.
I think Stevens wanted to go to the short out to his receivers, but BYU came up in a roll-type defense, and basically what you call a cover two. They rolled the corners up, kept them there in the flat area to take that short out away. Stevens had no choice but to get that ball to Green, his back coming out into the flat.
It does stop the clock with 16 seconds remaining. Gaston Green, 21 carries, 150 yards, and we're just 16 seconds shy of halftime.
He'll get better. He'll get better the second half.
Everybody needs to improve, right? Stevens with a deep drop. Burrell makes the reception at the 16-yard line.
They got to hurry.
They'll stop the clock as they move the chains. A 22-yard completion. They should get this playoff. Stevens trying to get all the BYU players on the other side of the line of scrimmage. The officials have not signaled the start of the clock. There's 9 seconds remaining.
Get up under center, Matt. Get up under center, so as soon as he blows it, you can take the snap.
Blew the whistle, and clock moves with 8 seconds. He quickly throws it out of bounds and stops the clock with 3 seconds remaining until halftime. And now they'll bring the field goal unit up on for UCLA. Dave Frady will come on, number 43, to attempt a field goal out of the hold of David Clinton. About a 33-yarder. Brady has made 15 of 19 field goals this year. This is obviously well within his range. Blocked. I believe it was 57 Richard Hobbs that got the hand on the field goal try. So the first half has come to a close. It has been a defensive-oriented first half. And let's go to our colleague Greg White, who's standing by with Terry Donahue.
Coach, I know yesterday you said you didn't know which UCLA team would show up, and at the very beginning it looked a little shaky.
Well, we made some mistakes early, and I think gave BYU an opportunity to stay in the game. And they're a good team. They're as good as we are. We're playing hard. They're playing hard. It's one of those games.
Your last outing, Gaston Green did not do well. He's done fantastic tonight.
Well, he's a great back, and we just got to quit making some of these mistakes and let Gaston and some of the athletes we have win the football game. Right now, the mistakes are really what are hurting us.
Lights have been turned off. It's time for the fireworks. Terry, thanks for being with us. It's halftime, and we'll be back with more from your local station.
Except the interview. Second half kickoff. Wes Denton will kick it off.
Velasco kicking off.
Direction that is Alfredo Velasco kicking it off. A very short kick to Robert Parker. Parker gets whacked as he crosses the 35-yard line. Good downfield special team coverage by the Bruins. Scott Stevenson leading the charge for the Bruins on special teams. I would be remiss if I didn't make one mention. You know, the first 2 bowl games we did this year, the Independence Bowl and the Hall of Fame Bowl, I got a lot of heat from my cousin Farrell. Didn't like my yellow tie, so I wore a red one tonight just in honor of my cousin Farrell.
Well, Farrell should be infatuated with that flaming red tie.
Robert Parker across the 45, close to a BYU first down. Cornell Lake, 31 for UCLA. Parker has shown some signs of being a real big-time back.
Well, again, we mentioned it earlier. He's a nice, fluid runner as you watch him right here. He cuts up real nice, almost keeps his feet, but he gets tripped up, but at least he's heading north and south. Remember, he's 6'3", 190. He may play in the pros at about 210, 215.
At 542 yards rushing this year, but the impressive thing about Parker, his per carry average of over 6 yards per carry.
That's quite a distance. I'll tell you, anytime you can get that 3.9 to 4.2 yards per carry, that's a good average. But when you go over 6 yards, that's outstanding.
The BYU team, unlike the previous decade, where they have been dominated by the pass, there were 4 times this year their rushing outgained their passing stats. Second down on the yard. Good gamble down if you're so inclined. We'll see if Bob Jensen comes up throwing on short yardage, second down. No, it's Hamuli for a first down. Greg Bolin met him head on. Bolin has played on this turf once before in high school. He was also a teammate of Matt Stevens. They played at the Big A. Here you see Bolin, 41.
Just saw Ken Norton, number 41 in there, the inside linebacker for the Bruins. 6'2", 226 pounds. He's going to be a good one. He's got great lateral movement. He's only a junior in his back.
91 Norton, 41 Bolin. Correction, it's 41 Norton, 91 Bolin. Hanson now. Dropped by Craig Rutledge.
We're seeing a little different philosophy coming out this second half now. What's happening is that BYU is going to keep this ball on the ground and try to establish that ground game. If they can be successful against the Bruins, what that'll do is hold those linebackers, which will allow their intermediate passing game, you know, the 5, 8, 12, 14, 22-yard pass routes to come open for BYU.
Richard Zayas, number 1, wide to the left side. Second down and 7 for Brigham Young inside UCLA territory. Jensen's going to run with it, and he's got a lot of room. He gets sent airborne by Darrell Henley, but he picks up 19 yards. Bob Jensen, a sophomore from Fillmore, Utah. Played exactly a game and a half this year for BYU.
This is a design run option. You're going to run it first. He's holding it up in the air, and that tells his receivers, I'm going to take off and run. He's got Parker out front. Watch right there. Henley tries to get up underneath him, which he did. Now, remember, he goes a long way in the air, but in high school, this guy went 6'9" in the high jump, so he can get up and sky.
First down, Brigham Young in UCLA territory at the 28-yard line. Hawker. Strung out very well by UCLA. Craig Rutledge makes the tackle, number 30.
It's a heads-up play by Rutledge. He read the sweep right away and immediately Force came up, took the legs out from underneath Robert Parker and knocked him down. Again, there's Rutledge, number 30, as you look at him, and there's Lavelle Edwards naturally, and Bellini's coming into the ball game now, but Rutledge is like a coach on the field.
Mark Bellini from San Leandro, California, out wide to the left side. Draws Darrell Henley in man-to-man coverage. The blitz on. And Jensen goes the other way. The blitz is coming from the backside. He picks up about 6 or 7 on the play. Chucky Miller brought him down, but Bob Jensen, figuring he can't move it up top, let's move it on the ground.
Well, they're staying away from Bellini. They're not trying to force the ball into him as they did the first half. They have made some good adjustments. Roger French, the offensive coordinator, obviously has adjusted very well offensively. We're going to get the ball to Hamuli. We're going to get the ball to Parker. We're going to keep it with Jensen on some rollouts. And let's see if UCLA can stop that.
3rd and 3, Cougars at the Bruin 21-yard line. Miles in the game, number 26 is a wideout. Ball is intercepted by Greg Bolin. Knocked out of bounds by Mark Bellini, but the ball tipped up in the air intended for Robert Parker. He knocked it up in the air. And Greg Bolin, number 91, comes up with the interception. So the drive is stalled, and UCLA leads 7-3. We'll be right back.
Discover the new shape of Mercury Cougar. The dream lives on. Mercury, the shape you want to be in.
I found a long-distance phone company with discounts when it's convenient for me to call.
I discovered one that lets me call anywhere, state to state, for one low hourly rate.
I found a long-distance company that can save me over 50%.
Who are they talking about? Who else? AT&T, the company that helps make your long-distance dollars go farther. With services you can count on. AT&T Long Distance for over 100 years. When you reached out, we were there. And you can keep it that way. AT&T, the right choice.
Power and long life. That's what you get from Interstate Batteries.
With service all across America, Interstate means power and long life. Get Interstate. Take power.
UCLA on top 7-3. That has been the score since midway through the first quarter. UCLA, after the tip ball intercepted by Greg Boland, BYU's first pass on that last drive, they stayed exclusively on the ground. Gaston Green, maybe 3, perhaps 4 yards on first down. UCLA has been averaging, as Regan Hansen made the tackle, UCLA is averaging over 7.5 yards per first down play, 7 yards per second down play.
There's another look at Roger French talking to his offensive line. He's telling those guards, when you pull, you got to kick out. We got to drive these guys back. Let's open the holes.
2nd down and 6 for UCLA at their own 28-yard line. Green knocked off his feet by 24, Shane Shumway. Good open field tackle by Shumway. They have been working to Shumway's side most of this game.
Well, they're trying to attack Sean Knight against the run. They're sending Gaston Green to the right side a lot, which means that the right tackle situation for the Bruins, Russ Warnick and John Kidder, who has been in there playing from time to time, are seemingly doing an adequate job against that big horse right there.
16 quarterback sacks this year for Sean Knight. Jack Snow has already mentioned the size of the man's neck. 21.5-inch neck. I think he has a problem getting shirts. Play fake by Stevens. And the reception by Durrell at the 39-yard line. Rodney Thomas defending over there, number 3 for Brigham Young.
It's going to be interesting, Howard, to see if they come back on that guy right there on Rodney Thomas, because when Durrell broke his out pattern, he had about a 5-yard cushion. Let's see if they set that up. We're going to watch it right here. Little play action fake. Durrell in the meantime is running an out pattern. Good release, good set. He makes the catch. Then you see Parker come up late to knock him out of bounds.
Durrell 5 receptions for 70 yards. First down, Bruins. Gaston Green with a wave in front. Shumway made the initial slowdown of Gaston Green, and then Andy Katoa finished him off after a gain of about 3 yards on the play across the 40.
Green looks like he may be limping just a little bit there on that left foot. We've got an injured Cougar down. It may be Katoa, I'm not sure.
I believe it is Andy Katoa, the sophomore from Salt Lake City. Terry Donahue, what an outstanding job he has done at the helm at UCLA. Earlier we were mentioning some of the players he's turned out. Kenny Easley, Jerry Robinson, John Lee, Freeman McNeil, the late Don Rogers, Tim Reitman at tight end, Wendell Tyler, Mike Sherrod. The list continues to grow. Add Gaston Green to that. We'll have these words now from your local station.
As time goes by,
just a clogged fuel filter, Joe.
I realize.
That's it? That's great.
Some things are better.
Oh, sorry.
Here they are.
Today, there's still a neighborhood car care company with a credo, not a slogan. Great parts, great service, great Bear. State-of-the-art technology and good old-fashioned know-how by good old you-know-who.
Trust Great Bear to take care of your car.
New York Knicks basketball, alive at the Garden. It's more than just a game.
Andy Katoa being tended to on the BYU bench. It is a knee. 2nd down for UCLA. Stevens again with the play fake. Threw it over Gaston Green's head. Brad Cahoon is in place of Andy Katoa at linebacker, and Darren Lambert is in now at left corner for Brigham Young. Andy Katoa, the injured BYU Cougar.
Look at the size of him, 6'2", 240 pounds, and he's an inside linebacker, which means he can run with the backs who come in and bounce outside. He's got great speed, great quickness, and he's strong enough to fill the hole and take on those oncoming guards. As you look at them, they're testing his left knee. They're looking for cartilage damage. If there's too much play in it, they look immediately to see how the ligaments are.
Paco Craig in as a wideout for UCLA. BYU perhaps showing a little bit of blitz. Again, the play fake by Stevens. Nearly intercepted by 53, Brad Cahoon. So it's going to bring up a 4th down, and the BYU special teams, led by Mike O'Brien, will await Harold Barcade's punt. O'Brien has returned 1 kickoff tonight for 45 yards, but BYU could not make anything happen on that particular drive. UCLA leading Brigham Young 7-3. The lone touchdown on the game, Gaston Green, a 3-yard run. Barcade hangs up a beauty. O'Brien somehow survived the first 2 collisions. A 37-yard punt and a 2-yard return for Mike O'Brien, who's got the guts of a second-story burglar. UCLA leading BYU. There's a penalty marker on the play, and we'll wait for the words of J.C. Louderback. Flag on the return.
I just wonder if they gave the receiver enough room to catch the ball, that 2-yard area, or after the catch, maybe there was a clip by the receiving team.
Markers against UCLA. Interference is the call. That may very well be the story.
I think that's what it is. The return man did not signal for a fair catch, but he
interference on the kicking team did not give the receiver 5 yards. 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
So BYU will have it 1st and 10 from their own 29-yard line. They trail in the game by the score of 7-3, and will return to Anaheim in a moment.
Holiday greetings from Budweiser. The people who bring you Budweiser wish you and yours the very best of everything this holiday season.
My dandruff shampoo is good.
Maybe you should try something else. My dandruff shampoo really works.
Maybe you should try something else, like Selsun Blue. Doctors and pharmacists recommend Selsun Blue more than all other leading brands combined. What that means to you is no leading brand gets rid of dandruff better than Selsun Blue. It's #1.
And like all Selsun Blue formulas, new extra medicated Selsun Blue is for serious dandruff, with the ingredient recommended most by doctors.
Where UCLA has dominated 1st down, gaining an average of 7 yards per 1st down play, BYU averaging about 3.5 per 1st down play, and that one's going to lose a yard as Lauke Hemuli was dropped by Ken Norton. Ken Norton's father, who was a victim of a tough automobile accident. We'll go with that further, but let's go right now to Greg Wyatt.
Dr. Mark Udall of BYU, and can you give us a condition now on Andy Katoa?
He's had a sprain to his knee. He's had a previous injury there, and where he's had the injury before, he's limping on it pretty good, and we're going to have to keep him out for right now, put some ice on it.
Does it look like he's out for the game, though?
That's not determined right now.
Dr. Mark Udall on the BYU bench now. Let's go back up to the booth.
Terrific balance by Robert Parker to stay in bounds and pick up about 7 yards in the play. There's an injured Bruin, slow getting up. Now appears to be okay. James Washington in on the play for UCLA. It's going to be a gain of about 7 yards, and it will set up a 3rd down.
Again, Robert Parker, 6'3", 190 pounds, a good running back, but also very valuable coming out of the backfield as a receiver. Coming into the ballgame, and we mentioned this earlier, 37 catches for over 370 yards.
Jensen with time. Norton made the tackle on the play, may have stopped Jensen shy of a first down. Eric Smith finally applying the finishing touch. Norton got to him first. It looks to be short of a first down by about a yard, maybe a half yard. It'll bring up fourth down.
Two things are happening on this play. Number one, there's good coverage in the secondary by UCLA, and there's good pass blocking by the BYU line. So the quarterback, Jensen, just takes off before he's nailed.
Ken Norton has 13 tackles in the ball game thus far, and we still have 8:16 to play in the third quarter. Gifford Irvine back deep for UCLA. Irvine fields it at the 21. Irvine had a little bit of a alleyway down the left sideline, a 41-yard return, a punt rather, and a 5-yard return. There you see where the referee marks the spot where he made the reception of the punt.
If Irvine could have got to that wall on the outside, he'd have scored a touchdown. He'd have been off to the races. He just slipped coming around the corner trying to make that turn and went down. Great job by the special teams. Now watch Irvine. He knows exactly where the wall is. Now watch his feet. He shakes by one Cougar right there. Now let's see if he keeps his feet or he's tripped up. Nope, we'll get it later.
The inside handoff to Greenwood. Shumway knocked him out of bounds, but Marcus Greenwood gives UCLA the ball. First and goal to go inside the 5-yard line. A run of 70 yards by Marcus Greenwood, who was questionable as whether or not he'd even play tonight.
Yeah, they didn't think he would be able to play, as you watch it right here, but outstanding. Not a big guy, 205 pounds, but a tremendous blocker. Again, another one in what is a great line of running backs for UCLA. Outstanding run by Marcus Greenwood.
Greenwood, a 70-yard jaunt and a first and goal for UCLA at the 6-yard line. James Primus in the game now as the up back of the eye. Gaston Green stopped at the goal line by number 7, Darren Lambert.
Just a fine job by BYU of shutting him down, because from up here it looked like he was going to be able to find that seam and squirt right in there, but they came right across. Lambert in particular just denied him the goal line.
So it's going to bring up second down, goal to go as Carl Durrell comes in for UCLA in place of Danny Thompson. Gaston Green, 25 carries, 163 yards.
The last run by Greenwood was what, 70 yards? We've broken all kinds of records tonight. Coming in, the longest run before was 29 yards by Jerome Johnson from Texas in '84. We eclipsed that, what, in the first 5 minutes of the first quarter?
Something like that. UCLA has called for a time, but we'll keep it here. UCLA averaging, Jack, this is an amazing stat. They're averaging over 8 yards per carry running the ball.
Well, it's a good job of play calling. Homer Smith, the offensive coordinator, is selecting his plays, and you're looking at Norm Anderson right now. But I tell you what, excellent job by the Bruins of calling plays. Anderson handles the running backs. The guy you see to the right, the long blonde hair, that's Rick Neuheisel, former quarterback for the Bruins, and Terry Donahue.
These two teams have met twice in the 80s, and Lavelle Edwards, who I said earlier, that dour look, obviously because his team is losing, but he always has that same frown on his face, and not because he's unhappy, he's not. Reminds me of a guy that used to play for the Dallas Cowboys, Walt Garrison.
Was he a tough customer?
He really was. And once upon a time, he was asked if Coach Tom Landry ever smiled. He said, "I don't know. I've only played for the man for 9 years."
Garrison was a good one. I think he wore number 32 at the fullback out of Oklahoma State. I played against him for many years.
He played with a guy with the L.A. Rams by the name of Tommy McDonald, good friend of ours.
Tommy McDonald out of Oklahoma, one of the all-time greats.
Second down, goal to go, UCLA. Two tight ends in the ball game. Primus and Gaston Green, the backs in the eye. Gaston Green has scored once tonight. Here's Green. Touchdown, untouched. Excellent block thrown by Derek Cannell, the tight end, number 81, to spring Gaston Green for his second touchdown of the night. This one from a yard out. 3 plays, 76 yards, and here it is.
Watch him right there. He cuts back up inside, gets a good block from Tennell, the tight end. He just skates right into the end zone. No problem, 6 points.
David Freeney out of the hold of David Clinton for the extra point. UCLA's lead is now 14-3 with 7:05 remaining, third quarter. J.C. Louderback, the referee tonight. All the officials from the Big 8 conference. UCLA and their directly attributable ticket sales. We look at the reminder that the new Peach Bowl comes your way tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Virginia Tech and North Carolina State. Ray Scott, Lee Corso, and Steve Brad to bring you all the play-by-play action. UCLA and their fans, not including the people that live in Anaheim, sold something like 13,000 to 14,000 tickets. And BYU sold about as many.
I would think so. There's a great following out here by the Mormon church and Mormon religion for the BYU football team, and they come out in droves. You know, we went out and saw them at practice a couple of days, and they had a lot of people standing on the sideline rooting their kids on.
Robert Parker on your right, Mike O'Brien on your left to return. Alfredo Velasco, number 25, to kick it off. 14-3 UCLA. In Freedom Bowl 3, the best of the lot thus far. Robert Parker returning it from the 10. And gets taken down after a return of 16 yards by number 54, Craig Davis.
To get up into that wedge very nicely. Again, that one was almost broken. That's the key. Remember, when you're a deep man in the kickoff return, you want to get that ball, get up into that wedge as quick as you can, and hopefully a seam will break for you. If nothing else, it does not allow the coverage team to get a good, clear shot at you.
So Bob Jensen, who's gone all the way, the sophomore quarterback, try to bring the Cougars from behind. Norton chased him out of bounds.
Ball carrier. Ken Norton drove out of bounds.
Bob Jensen picks up maybe 3 yards on the play, perhaps 2. Tried to bring up 2nd and long.
They tried that play a little earlier, and Jensen was wide open and picked up a lot of yards on it. Remember when he hurdled number 2 Henley? But that last play, Ken Norton stayed at home, and that's what you teach your backers. When the play goes away from you, you make sure the ball goes away from you.
Bellini, who thus far has been held in check. Jensen with time. Pass intended for Bellini, and he had double coverage. Jensen tried to jam it in there.
That's
almost picked off.
That's exactly what he did. He had Bellini coming across the middle early, but by the time he threw the ball, there was definitely double coverage, and Jensen tried to force the ball in there, and you can't do that.
Jensen is 10 of 20 thus far. He's also had 2 balls picked off. David Miles out wide to the left side. There you see rather poor stat for BYU thus far in 3rd down plays. This one is going to be short of a 1st down. A reception by Robert Parker. Ken Norton in on the play along with Darrell Henley, and it's going to bring up 4th down on the yard. UCLA giving him 8 yards, but not 9.
Well, that last play right there, that's what you want to do on 1st down or 2nd down. You want to hit that back for 8 and let him scramble for at least 1 more. So if you're going to have 3rd down, it's going to be 3rd and short, less than 2 yards.
Gifford Irvine, number 10, the lone man back for the Bruins. Pat Thompson nearly had the punt block. This is a beauty. Irvine at the 25. Not very many places to run. Knight makes the tackle. Tim Knight, the sophomore nose guard, makes the tackle on the special teams. It'll be UCLA ball. 1st and 10 at their own 29-yard line. Freedom Bowl 3. Howard David, Jack Snow, and Greg Wyatt, our colleagues, standing by on the sideline. Greg?
Howard, it seemed like going into this game, BYU was considered the physical team. It looks like UCLA is starting to out-physical them. Mark Bellini just had his ankle retaped. Of course, he was back into the last series of downs. But Shane Shumway is on the bench, as you can see. He's had a severe case of the cramps. We don't know when he is going to get back on defense for BYU.
Okay, Greg. Gaston Green on the last play, picking up 7 yards. Andy Katoa, who was shaken up a couple of series ago, is back in the game, and he made the tackle. Green cut down as he crossed the 35-yard line by Sean Knight.
Now, I know the Bruins are ahead, and they've got a comfortable margin, 14-3. But the way the secondary for BYU is playing, they're playing their strong safety up tight. He's almost as an outside linebacker. You'll be able to see him, 27, Corey Rasmussen. What that means is both corners have got the receivers man-to-man, and you've got a guy deep in the hole, which is the free safety. So let's see if they take advantage of that if a play is sent down and they try to go deep against BYU.
Joe Pickett comes in along with Derek Tennell, 2 tight ends. It'll be 3rd down on the yard for a first down. They go to the franchise, and he gets a first down. Gaston Green crosses the 45-yard line. Mark Neo, or rather Jeff Wilcox, the free safety from Jacksonville, Florida, makes the stop of the play, but Gaston Green records another first down for the UCLA Bruins, their 16th of the ball game.
Watch 77 right there. Look at that. That's a 4-point takedown right there. Plus his own man almost knocks him out by kicking him in the head.
Green with 181 yards. There was a little bit of holding there. 181 yards rushing for Green, 29 carries. UCLA averaging 9 yards on every first down play. Inside handoff to Greenwood. Marcus Greenwood, who broke one the last series for 70 yards, is brought down by Jeff Wilcox, but another first down for the Bruins inside BYU's 40.
Greenwood wants to get involved in the action too. He sees all the outstanding runs and the yardage that Gaston Green's piling up. As you look at the knee right there,
that's Andy Katoa.
That's Katoa. Yeah, he's got that knee wrapped. What's underneath that is ice to keep any swelling from allowing to occur. So they'll keep a big ice bag on it.
Greenwood has 99 yards and 4 carries. Of course, 70 came on one play. Green inside the 35-yard line. UCLA just wearing down the BYU defense with 3:49 to play in the 3rd quarter. And UCLA leading at 14-3. Their ground game is incredible.
It's awesome. You can tell as we watch Gaston Green come off the field, you can tell that offensive line has gotten together because of all the new guys at the new position and said, hey, let's go out and show these people that we can run the ball even if we're not all starters or we've been sick.
A handoff to 21 Eric Ball. You know, you take Green out and you think, well, you know, we finally got the big guy out of the game. Maybe, you know, things will get a little easier. But Eric Ball is not exactly a drop-off.
Well, they lose nothing. There's no question of it. You know, Ball is, as a matter of fact, he's bigger than Gaston Green, 6'1", 209-pounder, and he's only a sophomore. So you got Eric Ball, who's a sophomore, Gaston Green, who's a junior. You know, the only guy who's got any age is Marcus Greenwood, who's a senior. Danny Thompson, who's a sophomore, doesn't even get to play, and he's a fantastic back.
3rd down, Bruins. 4 for a first down on the 32 of BYU. Looking for Durrell just beyond his reach. Interesting to note, Jack, Gaston Green has carried the ball 30 times tonight, and he has not been tackled for a loss at all.
Well, that's a tribute to his excellent running style. But the one thing, too, is we've watched Gaston Green and you watch Durrell come back. Durrell ran a corner route on that last play, and he had number 3, Rodney Thomas, beat. Good play call by the coaching staff of the Bruins. Durrell was open, but the ball was just a little bit overthrown and to the wrong side. He had to try to adjust on the run, could not make the adjustment, therefore the ball was incomplete.
David Franey will come on to try a 49-yard field goal with a slight angle to the left. David Clinton to hold. His longest this year is 42. This one is good from 49. 49-yard field goal, David Franey's longest of 1986. And the Bruin mascot is happy right now. That breaks the Freedom Bowl record. We'll be right back.
Discover the new shape of Mercury Cougar. The dream lives on. Mercury, the shape you want to be in.
Every year, the guys in the NFL get bigger, faster, stronger. But my toughest competition isn't men, it's these machines. That's why One Health Club chain has earned the right to be the official training center of the NFL players. And why I get bigger, faster, and stronger every year.
Get pumping with the leader, Bally's Health and Tennis Corporation of America.
Anyplace else, and you're not playing with the pros.
A viewing reminder, the 50th National Invitation Basketball Tournament. Madison Square Garden on Thursday, March the 26th. We'll have it for you live at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. The oldest postseason college basketball tournament. The NIT, what a tradition. What great players have played in that game. George Mikan, Walt Frazier.
I remember George Mikan. Walt Frazier. Excuse me. You remember George Mikan. You did that game, didn't you?
No, I don't think so. That was when they had the leather straps around the ball.
The set shots.
Parker to return it from the 15. Parker out to the 38-yard line. A 23-yard return. Total yardage thus far. Check this out, Jack. This is wild. BYU has 178 yards of total offense. UCLA 410. Gaston Green has 183 yards rushing, more than the entire total offense of BYU.
A one-man show. UCLA's got BYU right where they want them now. They're going to force him. They're going to have to go to the air to get back in this ball game.
The inside handoff for a couple, maybe 3 yards. This is what they're playing for. The Marriott Trophy goes to the winning team. Right now, UCLA on top 17-3 with 2:08 to play in the third quarter.
It's a beautiful trophy, isn't it? Beautiful trophy.
Got the size of the trophies you got hanging and in your den. That was almost a reception. The pass was intended for 82 Chuck Cutler. And it was almost grabbed by David Miles. Chucky Miller defending on the play.
Cutler, an interesting story, got knocked out against the Air Force Academy. When he came to, he caught a 4-yard pass. When he came to, he didn't know where he was, and he actually had his professors believing that he didn't have to take his final exams. But he's such a good student that, in fact, they believed him and they allowed him to go through without taking some of his finals.
I was also told that his girlfriend told him that he had proposed marriage.
He definitely denied that.
Yeah, but he wound up doing it anyway, and his future father-in-law had it on videotape. Jensen airing it out to Parker, and it's overthrown. The third down play brings up fourth down. Chucky Miller defending on the play. The pass nowhere near Robert Parker. And the UCLA defense, BYU higher ranked this year defensively. UCLA in the top 20 in America defensively, and they're doing it tonight.
Well, you know, maybe one of the reasons is that blowout in Oklahoma when they lost us, when they had all those yards rushed against them, but doing a great job tonight, the defense for the Bruins.
Pat Thompson, the punt for Brigham Young. Their offense has been non-existent thus far tonight. Fair catch called for by Gifford Irvine at the 16-yard line of UCLA. A 41-yard punt. This is what you call looking at you.
See, he's trying to see if he can see himself in the reflection. He goes, smile, look at that. Look at those teeth. They just came in, too, recently. Probably got them for Christmas.
Terrific crowd on hand at Anaheim for Freedom Bowl 3. The first 2 years, Freedom Bowl attendance was in the low 30,000 range. Tonight's attendance will be upwards of around 60,000. You wonder if these kids' father owns a paint store.
Well, I think they've been to Disneyland and have met Tinkerbell and were a little upset after they saw her come down the wire off the Matterhorn.
The inside handoff to Greenwood for a few. Marcus Greenwood.
You know, we've gone through the night extolling the virtues of the running backs for UCLA, but you must remember one thing. There's Matt Stevens. Remember, he's had a decent night, too, as Garibaldi checks in. But remember, the interior line for the Bruins has done an outstanding job. Warnick, Torrey Pankoff, Arno Zonneveld, John Kidder, outstanding night.
Garibaldi, the man you just saw briefly. Gaston Green.
He's gone. He's gone.
Gaston Green, an 80-yard run.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Watch this.
I tell you what, watch a little move. See him set it up. See him set up his block for Greenwood, the fullback. Another little dipsy-do inside there. It causes another Cougar to go down. Now look at him go here. Now there's two guys that have angles right there. Number 7's got him, Darren Lambert, but he can't close the gap. Touchdown, 80 yards, Gaston Green.
It looked like Lambert was going to get him, and then Green puts it into second gear. 262 yards rushing and 31 carries. But look at the average. Of course, it's a little distorted, the average, but the total yardage is not. The extra point try by Frady, and UCLA opens it up. They now lead at 24-3.
I yelled, he's gone the second time. Boy, you hit me right in the ribs with your shoulder, but I knew he was gone. I knew he was gone, that guy wasn't going to catch him. No way that Lambert was going to catch him.
One of the things I learned, Jack Snow, when I found out that you and I were going to be working, was that nothing I was going to do was going to catch you, because while you didn't have the great breakaway speed, you were elusive. You had that quick step.
But you see, I heard about you. That's why I'm wearing my flak jacket.
Gaston Green has just lit the lamp at the Freedom Bowl. 262 yards rushing. We still have 52 seconds remaining in the third quarter as Mike O'Brien and Robert Parker drop back deep. Alfredo Velasco will be kicking it off for UCLA's Bruins. The end over end taken by O'Brien at the 9. To the 31-yard line, a 22-yard return for Mike O'Brien. Darrell Henley making the tackle on the play for the Bruins on the return of Mike O'Brien. The 262 yards rushing by Gaston Green is unofficially 12 yards shy of the all-time UCLA single-game rushing record held by Theodis Brown. But Green needs 12 more carries as you get a look at the wideout Richard Zayas for BYU. Pass caught near the 40-yard line. Craig Rutledge makes the stop on 82 Chuck Cutler. It's going to be shy of a first down by about a yard. We have 30 seconds remaining in the third quarter at Anaheim and Freedom Bowl 3. Howard David, Jack Snow, and Greg Wyatt bringing you Gaston Green in the living color. And man, has he had a night.
The Gaston Green show. Remember, he's got another year yet. He has another year to play.
Jimmy Edwards in motion. The inside handoff to Heimuli. Across the 45 to about the 47-yard line. The clock will stop as they move the chains, but that may very well be the last play of the third quarter. Locke Heimuli, all WAC conference rusher, just shy of 1,000 yards this year. In addition to that, he caught 41 balls. That is going to be the last play of the third quarter. Right now, color it pale blue and gold for UCLA. They lead Brigham Young 24-3.
Mrs. Kaskowski has a very sore throat.
It's hideous. It hurts to swallow. It's hot, raw.
Will fast-working chloroseptic spray bring her relief sooner than we can finish this commercial?
I doubt it.
Doctor-recommended chloroseptic goes to work right where the hurt is. Stops sore throat pain really fast. But will Mrs. Kaskowski really start to feel relief before we can finish this commercial? Well, Mrs. Kaskowski...
You begin with raw steel. Shape it with fire, muscle, and sweat. Polish it to razor-sharp perfection. We're looking for a few good men with a medal to be Marines.
You're about to discover one reason no other long-distance company can give you what AT&T can. You'll see something that lets us offer you a distinct advantage. What is it that helps keep us at the cutting edge? Betsy Thompson.
I'd be glad to assist you, Mr. Green.
And thousands like her who handle AT&T cards, billing questions, 800 numbers, any service you need.
I'm glad I could help.
For over 100 years, when you reached out, we were there, and you can keep it that way. AT&T, the right choice.
Once upon a time, millions of us roamed the bathrooms of America.
We're bull shavers, convinced we had to use shavers with all kinds of expensive extras.
But we don't pay an arm and a hoof anymore, 'cause us bull shavers are becoming
Bic shavers. Bic gives us an extraordinary shave at an extraordinary price, without bells or whistles. To pay more makes you, well, bullheaded. Try the Bic for normal or sensitive skin, and you too will have a beef.
With bull shaving.
Goodyear Airship Columbia out of Carson, California. Charles Russell, the pilot, from Downey, California. And Robert Parker from Alabama. About 5 yards on the carry as we begin the fourth quarter. Gaston Green with 262 yards rushing tonight gives him 1,401 yards unofficially. That is a new school record at UCLA. The old record is held by Freeman McNeil. Let's go to Greg Wyatt.
Howard, it has been a very big night for Gaston Green, and he is doing it in front of the home folks. They're way up in the peanut gallery. They're literally up at the top of the stadium in the oxygen zone, and I think everybody needs oxygen. 262 yards on the night. UCLA well on their way for a fifth straight bowl victory. Michigan, Illinois, Miami, Iowa, and now possibly BYU. Howard?
Thank you, Greg. The reception made by 18, Jimmy Edwards for 12 yards, the son of Lavelle Edwards.
It's a good route here run by Edwards. Not gifted with a great deal of speed, but he finds the seam. Great concentration. Takes a good pop from Darrell Henley, but holds on to the ball. His mom wants him to play more. She's got some inside...
That's connections.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, but the connections don't work. Dad's still the coach.
Yes.
That's only his second reception of the year. First down play, Jensen scrambling. And he's going to have to wisely get out of bounds. Chased out of bounds by 75, Doug Wassel. These are not a group of happy Cougars of BYU. Production-wise in the 80s, though, Jack, I'll tell you the program that Lavelle Edwards has put together is excellent. They've won more games than any other major college. As you get a view of the Big A.
Well, he's a good one. Lavelle is a good coach. He's got a great staff. He's had a lot of good people come through. Tremendous athletes have gone to BYU, and they've been a little bit older, too.
Hansen in motion. 2nd and 13. They give it to Parker. And Parker paid for that one. Bolin and Norton combining. BYU, in their last 11 third down plays, we got a third down play coming up. They've gained a total of 4 yards. Now they'll have it third down and a long 11, as if 11 wasn't long enough.
Well, they're only 3 scores down. They're a very explosive offense. They can come back and get it. They've been averaging 25 points a game, so they can put some points on the board, but they better get one this drive.
With protection, Jensen hits Hamuli out of the backfield. It's going to be shy of a first down, and you would have to believe that BYU in 4-down zone would have to go for it on 4th down, as Hamuli picks up about 8 or 9 on the play. Brian Jones UCLA's Rookie of the Year, a freshman, made the tackle.
Well, they need a score here, and they don't need a field goal. When they say they need 3 touchdowns, they're 21 points down. You don't want a field goal, you need 7, not 3.
It's going to be 4th down and about 3.
Let's see if they go with the rollout. Let's see if Jensen rolls out to the slot side.
He's got Miles, the wideout, on the right. Throwing it out to the right, and the pass is caught.
That's a great catch by
Jimmy Edwards makes his 2nd catch of the ball game in front of Brian Jones, but Jimmy Edwards, who caught 1 ball all year for 4 yards, has 2 catches tonight in this drive.
They're running a slot formation to the top. Jensen drops back. He looks to his left a little bit. Now watch the catch right here. Watch him lay out for that ball. Great concentration. He reaches out, grabs that ball, brings it back into his body before he hits the ground. Nice job of receiving the ball by Jimmy Edwards, the coach's son.
1st down, Cougars at the UCLA 22-yard line. Mooley is brought down from behind. There's a penalty marker on the play. Making the stop for UCLA was Jeff Glesser. But Chris Mataw is walking away dejectedly, and the penalty is obviously going to go against Brigham Young. Personal foul against the Cougars, and judging by the way Mataw was walking away, is probably on him.
Well, BYU doesn't want to do anything stupid right now, and when you do something like that, you almost kill a drive. You got a nice drive going for you. You're getting down after just picking up a big 4th down situation. You make the 1st down. Now let's not move ourselves backwards, because you don't want that to happen, because it takes more time off the clock, longer to score, and you may not score.
It's going to be a big one, 15 yards back to the 37-yard line.
Dead ball, personal.
Attaboy.
On the offense, the 2nd down.
That's a great move. That's the best move I've seen by an official all year.
2nd and 25. 2nd and 25 for Brigham Young from the UCLA 37. They got it as close as UCLA's 22. Mooley with an excellent catch. And, Ken Norton just leveled him at the 32-yard line. It's almost unfair. The ball is thrown up in the air, and you got a guy with the talent of Ken Norton with a free shot on Mooley.
Well, you watch Jensen. He could get rid of the ball a little bit earlier, but look at the concentration by Mooley, and watch the smack. Wappo, boy, I tell you what, he puts him right back on that 35 on the green stuff. That's the old sucker punch from the right hand. That'll take you out for the count.
So it'll be 3rd down and 20 for Brigham Young from the UCLA 32-yard line. Mooley continuing the drive, finally brought down by Darrell Henley. Good drive and desire by Locke Mooley. It's going to bring up a 4th down play.
As you watch Locke walk back to the huddle, Lavelle Edwards says that he is probably one of the quietest guys he has ever coached. He's talking to Locke Mooley about his younger brother, and he said, what kind of a guy is he? He said, Coach, he's a quiet guy. Let's watch Locke Mooley go to work again right here. Watch him pluck this ball out of the air with those hands. Take that away, look for the defender, tuck that ball inside to keep him fumbling. Yeah, look at that. He delivers 4 blows, knocks 4 Bruins down.
He had 41 receptions this year.
Blitz.
The blitz is on. Jensen gets whacked from behind by 98, Eric Smith. And it'll be UCLA's ball as they turn it over on downs.
You know, we talked about Eric Smith at the top in the beginning of the ball game. He led the Bruins coming in with 10 sacks.
UCLA on top by 21. We'll be back.
So the issue is clear. Sony Video 8, the system of the future, or VHS-C, the compromise of the past. Now, as we've seen, the new Sony Handycam with autofocus and zoom gives you a measurably better picture, far superior sound, twice the recording time, and on Sony video cassettes, your memories are safe. While on VHS-C, they could be fleeting. I rest my case.
The Sony Video 8 system. Judge for yourself.
It's Pontiac's year-end blowout, and that's something special. Hot savings on these Pontiacs equipped with optional air conditioning. Pontiac's made it possible for Pontiac dealers to pass along special savings of up to $675 on Sunbird, or up to $775 on Fiero, Firebird, or Pontiac 6000. All equipped with air conditioning. You must take actual retail delivery from dealer stock by December 31st. This could be your last chance to deduct sales tax on your federal income tax if you itemize, so see your Pontiac dealer today.
UCLA's ball at their own 35-yard line. 10:37 remaining in the fourth quarter. Here goes Eric Paul, reached out of bounds at the 40-yard line by Shane Shumway. Mike Farr, a freshman, is in. You see him there, number 9 on the left side of your screen. He, of course, is the younger brother of Mel Farr Jr., who we have not seen tonight, and both, of course, the sons of Mel Farr Sr., the one-time great running back of the Detroit Lions. UCLA averaging over 9 yards per first down play, 9.5 per second down play. 2nd and 5. Inside handoff. David Futrell making the stop on James Primus.
The first time we've called Futrell's name tonight, which means that interior line, Torrey Pankoff, and the whole inside, Jim Alexander, the left guard, right guard Joe Goebel, who's been substituting for Ono Zwanevelt, and John Kidder, the tackle, and Warnick, the tackle, have been doing an outstanding job against the BYU defensive down linemen.
UCLA, 3rd down on the yard from their own 44. Far out wide to the left side. Eric Paul looked to be short on the initial surge. Knocked back by Jason Buck, the Allen Trophy winner. Buck, number 99. 17 hurry-ups in addition to the 12.5 sacks he had this year. And on 4th down, UCLA is going to punt it away.
Buck's an interesting story. If you have time, maybe we can cover that. Unbelievable childhood.
He was recruited by UCLA. As you look at Mike O'Brien, the rush is on, and he gets it away. O'Brien, fair catch at the 17-yard line. And so, with 9:03 to play in Freedom Bowl 3, the Bruins of UCLA in front, 24-3.
IBM presents a sneak preview of a television series that makes mathematics so appealing and fun for kids that you will want to remember its name. Multiplication. Geometry.
A prime number.
This just into the newsroom.
Fractions.
12/16 is smaller than 7/8.
They're all part of the fun on Square One TV. Square One TV is underwritten in part by IBM and is produced by Children's Television Workshop. It will air every weekday on most PBS stations, premiering January 26th. Watch for it.
Just a little simple mathematics.
Helping support Square One TV is another way IBM is helping support education.
You begin with raw steel. Shape it with fire, muscle, and sweat. Polish it to razor-sharp perfection. We're looking for a few good men with a medal to be Marines.
This BYU fan came from Provo to watch his Cougars play. They're not doing too well right now. They've had some great track record. Dumped over the middle of Hansen, who's racked up at the 15-yard line by Ken Norton. We have called Ken Norton's name so many times tonight. He has just had a whale of a game.
He's had an outstanding ball game. Terry Donahue thinks he'll make an outstanding pro. If there's one thing he does not have at this time, is that he's not real tall, but he's had a great game with 17 tackles so far tonight.
So Jensen brings him to the line. 2nd down and 12. The ball at the 15 of BYU. Jensen loses the ball and alertly picks it up and pays for a 3-yard, maybe 4-yard pickup. Terry Toomey dropped him. So the alertness by Jensen gave him a gain where it was going to be a loss. Terry Donahue, once upon a time, you never believe it by looking at Terry. He once upon a time played for Tommy Prothro. He played defensive tackle at UCLA.
I played against him in both high school and college, and we dominated him.
It's not fair. He chose the wrong sides. 3rd down and 9 for Brigham Young from their own 19-yard line. Richard Sayas to the left side. Jensen has time. Delivers it up high and is intercepted.
James Washington.
James Washington with the interception deep in BYU territory. A 17-yard return with the intercepted pass. And it is all going UCLA's way. They lead 24-3.
Bob, I need a trainer.
How about Eddie?
He's just a kid.
So was I.
You've worked long and hard to get there. When the time comes, you hope you're ready.
You make America work. This buzz for you.
Here's to you. Reach with age for that clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
This buzz for you.
A jellyfish swims faster than that.
Not with a clogged nose like this.
Oh, try this. Sidex, I need help now.
You got it. Hit this when you feel it.
1 second.
With Sinex Vapors, you feel better in 1 second. Plus, it's strong decongestant, keeps you breathing free for hours.
And you're gonna need it for hours. Whoa!
Sinex, regular or long-lasting. Feeling better is a second away. From Vicks, of course.
Travel arranged through PSA. When traveling in the West, fly the airline with the most nonstops throughout the West. PSA. Catch our smile. Sean Knight making the hit on Gaston Green for a couple of yards. Green has already broken the single-season rushing record held by Freeman McNeil, the outstanding running back of the New York Jets.
See, did you hear that? Hi, Mom, Dad. Second guy I've ever heard say hi to Dad.
You were the first.
No, I did the same thing. I said hi, Mom. I didn't say hi to my dad.
3rd down play coming up for the Bruins. Following a turnover, the 3rd pass interception of the game by the Bruins. They have a 3rd down at the 13-yard line. Gaston Green
got him,
spinning up, looking to the end zone, where his feet in bounds, touchdown. Carl Durrell off the halfback option, a 13-yard touchdown pass. He got his feet down just in time in the back of the end zone.
This is a great job right here by Green. He takes the pitch like he's going to run on the sweep. He pulls up now. He's waiting for Durrell to get open. Remember, he's left-handed. That's the key right there. So this is a natural throw for him. Watch Durrell tap dance, stay inside to drag both those feet. Great job by Carl Durrell.
So the Bruins now opening up a 30-3 lead. Carl Durrell has had a big night. Off a reverse, he ran 50 yards. Now he's caught a 13-yard touchdown pass from Gaston Green. Is there anything that Gaston Green doesn't do well?
He can do it all. As a matter of fact, he even drives a team bus from the hotel to the stadium.
Brady's extra point is perfect. And the Bruins making it a rout. The team that started out this season losing to Oklahoma 38-3 is turning the Freedom Bowl into a rout. Now these words from your local station.
The greatest city in the world. What better place for a university? A university with diverse courses of study and a distinguished faculty. And excellent facilities, the most technically advanced television production center of any school in the country. And tuition that's affordable, not restrictive. Yes, the city is New York. The university is St. John's.
When buying furs, there's no substitute for quality. That's why you'll stand out wherever you go in your Flemington fur. Yes, when you choose from Flemington Fur's enormous selection, you can be certain that every fur you see is the very best quality available and at a price that assures you exceptional savings. For every occasion, it's not just fur, it's a Flemington fur.
I love my Flemington fur.
Flemington Furs, the gift she wants most. Open Sunday and every day to 6.
As you watch Brendan McCracken limber up, the number 2 quarterback for UCLA, a reminder tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern Time, Mislu TV Sports to present the new Peach Bowl. Virginia Tech and North Carolina State. Ray Scott, Lee Corso, and Steve Grad to be on hand to bring you all the action from Fulton County Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. 55,422 tickets sold for Freedom Bowl 3, by far by 20,000 better than any previous Freedom Bowl. O'Brien on the return across the 25-yard line.
Now you're going to watch something here that looks kind of easy, but remember now, this is a tremendously difficult pass to throw. This is almost like a basketball pass by Gaston Green. Watch how he drops that ball right in. And now look at the left foot. Watch the left foot of Durrell. Look at that. Nice drag step to make sure he's in bounds. Great job.
31-3 Bruins. Green has 266 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns. He has thrown 1 touchdown of 13 to Carl Durrell, which you just saw. And the new quarterback, Lindsley's in the game for Brigham Young. Correction.
Mike Young.
It is Mike Young, the junior quarterback from Greenwich, Connecticut, who's come in the game, number 12. Surprising not to see Steve Lindsley, the senior quarterback.
You would think that they would allow him to go out with a little bit of bowl time in his last year at BYU. He may, you don't know, he may come in later on.
Only 5:25 remaining of the ball game. As you follow Zayas out wide to the right. There's another quarterback named Young that was pretty good by the name of Steve Young. The completion across the 30. That's Cutler, who made the reception, dropped by Dennis Price, who's now playing right quarterback for UCLA.
Interesting watching Cutler as you watch him leave the field. He's caught a couple of passes tonight, and they've all been inside, which means he's running back into the grain and back in towards the tackler. So great concentration. He's gotten over that concussion he suffered against Air Force a couple of weeks ago.
3 pass interceptions by the Bruins. And Gaston Green and company, part of the story. The reception by Ralph Martini, and it is enough for a first down. They'll stop the clock as they move the chains with 4:29 remaining on the ball game.
Martini came into tonight's ball game, 2 catches for 6 yards. Both catches were touchdowns. That kind of ruined his string right there. Now he's 2 for 3, or 3 catches, but only 2 of them are touchdowns.
BYU this season had 38 turnovers. UCLA had 21. Tonight, UCLA has turned the ball over twice, but neither have been a factor. Young with a host of time, and he's going to be sacked at about the 39-yard line by Billy Ray. Billy Ray, number 35 for UCLA, a sophomore from Huntington Beach, came back this year from knee surgery. Going to bring up 2nd down for the Cougars, 2nd and 12.
Billy Ray's a big guy too, 6'3", 230-pounder. You look at, I think that's Bellini on the sideline. He's nursing a sore ankle. They'll probably hold him out the rest of the night. Very confident young man. I don't want to say cocky, but very confident.
He'll play in the East-West Shrine game, and we'll have it for you on Mislu TV Sports on January the 10th. Hey, Mooley. Brought down from behind by 48 Doug Klein, as Terry Donahue getting a lot of the second-line people into the game now. Billy Ray, Doug Klein in at linebacker. Clock continues to move with 3:10 to play in the ball game. UCLA comfortably in front in a bit of an understatement, 31-3. They scored 17 unanswered points in the 3rd quarter. 1 touchdown here in the 4th quarter. Gaston Green has put on some show, but he's had a lot of help. Young downfield, and he's got his receiver. Cutler for a first down inside the UCLA 40-yard line. Alan Dial, who against Oregon State returned a pass interception 100 yards for a touchdown. That play was good for 18.
A couple of UCLan boosters right there. They're on a happy mood. They'll probably be heading over either to Knott's Berry Farm or Disneyland or the Wax Museum and get waxed.
Well, some fans of Mark Bellini. Obviously, Lavelle Edwards has had better nights in his life. Young over the middle and the pass thrown behind the intended receiver, Bruce Hansen. Darrell Henley defending on the play. While we have a moment, our thanks to Tom Starr, the executive director of the Freedom Bowl. Kevin Forth, the president. Tom Starr, the executive director of the Freedom Bowl. Kevin Forth, the president of the bowl. Chairman of the board, Joel Rothman, for all of their hospitality for the days that we've been here.
It's been a great time. They've taken both teams. Of course, UCLA has seen a lot of the stuff themselves, but they've taken BYU up to Universal Studios, to Disneyland, to Knott's Berry Farm. It's a great trip for these young men.
Second down for BYU at the UCLA 37-yard line. Young looking for Cutler. Alertly turned around, looking for the reception off the tip ball. Dennis Price defending on the play. Stops the clock with 2:20 to play in the ball game.
Terry Donahue's getting a lot of his ball players in right now. You're going to watch Cutler come out of a corner move. He takes it to the post, comes back. Now watch Price go up and time it. The good thing he's trying to do is not trying to simply knock it down. He's trying to go for the pick. He wants to make the interception, and that's what good defensive backs always do. Price started the year as a starter, but was consequently beaten out later on by Darrell Henley.
Third down play for the Cougars. Young. Pass thrown slightly behind Jimmy Edwards, and it's incomplete, bringing up fourth down, and the clock stops with 2:15.
Pass intended for Jim Edwards is incomplete. Dial is covered.
While we're passing out thank yous, our thanks to our crew up here in the booth. Dennis Medician, who's been handling our statistics. Stephanie Levin, who's been spotting for us. Takes a lot of people to put a telecast together and make it effective. Players do it on the field. Right now it is UCLA. Cutler with an excellent reception inside the 15-yard line. 23-yard pickup.
A nice route by Cutler, a deep square end. Watch right here. Young's back to pass. He picks him up. Look at the nice lead pass over the linebackers in front of the safeties. Cutler does a good job of concentrating, goes up in the air, pulls it down. Another view. Young drops back. Great deal of composure. He knows he's in a mop-up situation, but he maintains his statistics insofar as getting his fundamentals done. Nice, great catch by 82 Chuck Cutler.
Young 5 of 8 for 59 yards. Love to score a touchdown here. Hey, Mooley inside the 5 to about the 3-yard line. Gang tackle there. There were a whole host of Bruins in on the tackle. Mark McGill, who's just come in as a free safety. Marcus Patton.
Mooley's going to want to get this in for the touchdown right now. It's a little delay circle pattern by the fullback. Remember now, Hamuli's the second leading receiver on this football team. That's Cutler again. I'm sorry. We're going to watch it again. There he is. Lake Hamuli from Tongatupu.
First and goal from the 3-yard line. BYU has not crossed the goal line tonight. Hansen, touchdown. Just gets in. Bruce Hansen on the cutback, a 3-yard touchdown run, and BYU finally crosses the UCLA goal line.
That's good effort by the Cougars all the way across the offensive front. It's a good job of blocking and a good job of carrying the ball by Hansen. The pride factor is on the line. They're going to try and get as much as they can and go out here at least with 100% effort.
So Jimmy Edwards will hold for Leonard Chitty. In previous Holiday Bowls, BYU has made a career of coming from behind, but this is a little bit too much to expect. 31-9 with 1:21 to play. The extra point is good. 31-10 the score now. UCLA on top. We have 1:21 to play in Freedom Bowl 3. We'll be right back.
Look to northwest.
Look who gives you Asia after only 60,000 miles. Europe after only 40,000 miles. And the continental United States after just 20,000 miles. Look whose frequent flyer program serves up the world faster than any other airline.
Look to us, northwest.
We've got it all, we've got it all. Beaches and paddle boats to dancing waterfalls. We've got it all, we've got it all. Daytime or nighttime, fun and pleasure call. Dine and dance, find romance. We entertain you all the while. At Disneyland Hotel, we've got it all.
60 acres of resort pleasures and the only hotel on the monorail to Disneyland.
We've got it all.
All the right parts in all the right places. Napa's putting smiles on American faces.
Napa means auto parts. So dependable, every Napa brand part is backed by the Napa National Warranty Program. Parts for import and domestic cars are available through 6,500 Napa stores all across the country. Or get Napa quality at garages and service stations where you see the Napa sign. Wherever you go, Napa's the one.
All the right parts in all the right places. Napa.
Our thanks to the sports information staff at Brigham Young University. Dave Schultes is the director. Mark Dellins, the director of sports information for UCLA. Henley as they try the onside kick. Big pile up and around the 50-yard line. And Brigham Young is saying it's their ball.
They're going to unpile them first now. No official has indicated exactly what's happened. All the players are signaling that they've got the ball, but let's wait and see. Yeah,
it is BYU's ball at the 49-yard line of UCLA.
Let's watch it right here. This is a good kick. Let's see who has the opportunity to pick it up for the Bruins and who doesn't. It looks like Tennell's in there. He lets the ball go through him. The receiver happens to be going down, and I can't quite tell who that is. 30-something. I'm not sure. Maybe Rodney. I don't know who that is. I can't see it. Just a mass of humanity down there.
You know, it might have been Chris German, the man that kicked off. He might have been the man that dislodged the ball.
Kickers never do that.
No, they
never get into a pocket.
I thought I saw 86 in there. Maybe not.
Maybe it was. I shouldn't say that.
So with 1:17 to play, Young is dropped for a loss by Jim Waller, the sophomore right tackle from San Jose, number 66. A loss of 2 on the play. The size of these athletes out of the field. I mean, BYU came into the game averaging 275 across the offensive line.
Much bigger than the Bruins defensive line, but the Bruins defensive line is very active, and they play a very integral, sophisticated defense in conjunction with their linebackers, and they do a great job of it.
All right, let's go to Greg Wyatt for an announcement on tonight's MVPs.
Kevin Forth is the president of the bowl, and Joel Rothman is the chairman. We have a very special guest from Disneyland.
I'd like to introduce Barbara Warren, a Disneyland ambassador, to make a very special presentation right now on behalf of the Disneyland.
I'd like to say happy holidays to everyone from Disneyland and to announce that the most valuable player from UCLA is Gaston Green, and the most valuable player from BYU is Shane Shumway.
Actually, no surprises at all. Shane Shumway from BYU, Gaston Green from UCLA. Back up to the booth.
Okay, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Greg. Young, 2nd down and 12. Tries to set up the screen to Haymoli. Haymoli gets out of bounds at the 26-yard line and a first down, which stops the clock with 59 seconds to play. A 26-yard run with a screen. Dropped by Billy Ray, chased him out of bounds finally. The clock stops with 59 seconds to play. 31-10, UCLA seemingly well out in front with a 21-point lead.
guys from BYU quitting. They want to get themselves another touchdown. Let's draw it a little bit closer, make it a little more respectable.
Cutler wide to the left side. Zayas to the right side. Young stumbles, and he's going to be sacked by Jim Waller, the right tackle, number 66. Timeout is called for as we acknowledge the work of the Goodyear Airship Columbia, based in Carson, California. Pilot Charles Russell from Downey, California. UCLA has 7 quarterback sacks tonight.
Done a great job along that front line, I'll tell you that. We mentioned Terry Toomey earlier, that maybe he would have been a key to tonight as well as all year long for the Bruins, because he is basically undersized, but he and the rest of the front line of the Bruins, Toomey, Waller, and Batchkoff, have done an outstanding job.
I must admit, I'm very surprised that Young is in there now at quarterback and not Steve Lindsley, who started most of the season for BYU.
There's such a tremendous following of the BYU fans that, you know, Lindsley took an awful lot of heat from the fans back in Provo, and they subjected to quite a few times when they booed him royally, and maybe he doesn't want to put him in the ballgame to subject him to that.
Well, you know, when you follow the lineage of great quarterbacks at BYU and the names, everybody has already read the names 7 or 8 times over. It's like the kid we had a week ago at the Hall of Fame Bowl, Sean Halloran, following Doug Flutie at BC is not an enviable task. Young dropped from behind by 31, Carnell Lake.
Carnell Lake made the stop.
Terry Donahue, if you're wondering why we're showing you a shot of Terry Donahue, he just got the Bill Parcells treatment. Parcells, of course, the head coach of the Giants. Every single Sunday that the Giants win, Harry Carson, the all-pro linebacker, gives Bill Parcells a ice bucket bath, and Terry Donahue just got a piece of that. Well, and I'm sure he's happy to have it, even though it's getting a little chilly now because his team's way out in front with 40 seconds.
He doesn't like it, but he's not bigger than anybody on his team.
Pass is caught inside the 20, and there's a flag thrown. Pass is caught by Zayas. We may have a flag thrown. We may get a face mask
on Chucky Miller, the cornerback. Maybe some pass interference of some type, or an after-the-catch face mask.
33 seconds remaining as they stop the clock on the flag. And BYU is going to call for a timeout. Their second of 3. Ryan Jones waving to the crowd. And let's get the words from J.C. Louderback. Pass interference is the call against UCLA.
It's short of the first down. It looks as if.
Pass interference carries with it automatic first down.
That's what they're talking about. Whether they want to take the yardage or take the penalty. They take the penalty, that they will give them a first. Young saying, no, we'll just take the play because I want those 9 yards into my statistics.
Line of scrimmage was the 37-yard line. Wait a minute. Now they're going to take the penalty, not the yardage.
Supposed to say I too.
Well, Matt Stevens has done a
beautiful chance. There you go.
And Matt Stevens, he's a happy young man.
Pass interference on the defense. Automatic first down.
They take the first down, the automatic first down, the ball at the 22-yard line. Would have been inside the 15 if they had taken the play, but it would not have been a first down. 30 seconds remaining in the game. Under a rush and down. Carnell Lake sacks. Young, the quarterback, the 8th quarterback sack of the night. And BYU spends their last time out with 20 seconds remaining.
Carnell Lake, as you look at him, he is listed as a linebacker. He plays as a linebacker. Size-wise, 6 foot, 200 pounds. Sophomore, not a real big guy, but very agile on the kickoff or punt return teams at times.
That's the amazing fact, is that Lake, a linebacker who does run the 40 at about a 4.6. He's got to be the only linebacker in major college football to return punts or kickoffs.
It's almost like having a strong safety playing outside for you as you look at it. You've got great lateral movement. You can drop back into pass coverage into that zone area at 18 to 22 yards. Pick up the backs coming out of the backfield, play them man-to-man. A very, very good athlete for the Bruins, and he'll be there for 2 more years.
55,000 and change came here tonight. Paid admissions to see Freedom Bowl 3. 55,422 to be exact. I'll tell you what, this, for the most part, a lot of second-string defensive people for UCLA. There hadn't been a whole lot of drop-off. This team is so deep. Really.
This is where I defer to you, the professional, because Donahue will do this to you. There'll be numbers in there that I didn't even know existed.
Second down for BYU, 2nd and 20 at the UCLA 32. This time Young flushed out of the pocket. Throws it on the run. And Carnell Lake was chasing Young all over the backfield. Stops the clock with 12 seconds remaining. It will be 3rd and 20 for BYU.
Young did a good job not to go down the first time, escaping to the outside, and basically just threw that ball away.
Young is 7 of 11 for 97 yards. This is one of the real good guys in major college football. Lavelle Edwards, of course, his counterpart across the way, Terry Donahue, has done a magnificent job in Westwood. He's had the winningest coach in the history of UCLA football, and they've had some good ones. Red Sanders,
Billy Barnes,
Tommy Prothro. 3rd and 20. Intercepted, or was it? It is not intercepted, not an interception. James Washington made the interception, but he came down out of bounds, and so it will bring up 4th down with 4 seconds remaining in the game. And coming up, the final play of Freedom Bowl 3. Easily the most successful from every standpoint. One, the attendance, over 20,000 more than it had in either of the previous 2 Freedom Bowls. From a value of teams, UCLA and Brigham Young, they've had the best matchup in the 2 previous games. And in a city like Anaheim, with the weather and the stadium and the things that the kids can do, a great place for a bowl game. The last play of the game, fittingly, is a quarterback sack by Jim Waller. Final score 31-10 right now. Let's go to Greg Wyatt with the MVP, Gaston Green.
What a night for Gaston Green. The last time you faced this BYU team, you were held to 55 yards. You had that on your first touchdown run.
Yeah, well, I was aware that I didn't do too good against them last year, so I wanted to come in today and try to do pretty good against them. And my offensive line, they just blocked real well for me, like they were doing all year long. And it's great to go out to end the season like this.
Well, you have won 5 bowl games in a row for UCLA. Congratulations, Gaston Green. You've got another year left.
Yeah, hopefully we can come out and get another bowl victory next year.
Gaston Green, and there are cameras waiting for you. An impromptu news conference here on the Silent. We'll be back in a minute.
Come windjamming with us and delve into the hidden treasures of the exotic Caribbean aboard Windjammer Barefoot Cruises. Windjamming, all the swimming, snorkeling, sunning, and romantic sunsets are yours aboard traditional tall ships, nearly 300 feet long. Your fantasy comes true for as little as $625. Call our toll-free number for your free adventure magazine on 6-day cruises, 1-800-327-2600.
Is uric acid strong enough?
No, and it's even a leading plus brand.
Try double strength Mylanta 2 with ounce for ounce nearly double the acid neutralizing power of any leading plus brand.
Now that's strength.
Mylanta 2. Is uric acid strong enough?
No. You got something stronger?
Yes. Double strength Mylanta 2 with ounce for ounce nearly double the acid neutralizing power of any leading brand.
Now that's the relief I wanted.
Mylanta 2.
Hall's Mentholyptus cough tablets. Vapor action penetrates deep to help your stuffy nose feel clearer. Hall soothes your throat, helps your cough.
Edge for extraordinary closeness. Edge for extraordinary comfort.
It's not your ordinary shave.
Final score in Freedom Bowl 3, UCLA beats BYU 31-10. Gaston Green, 266 rushing yards. He breaks the UCLA single-season rushing record held by Freeman McNeil. Tomorrow on Ms. Lou TV Sports, the new Peach Bowl, Virginia Tech and North Carolina State. Ray Scott, Lee Corso, and Steve Brad to bring you all the action. For everybody here at the Freedom Bowl, Greg Wyatt and Jack Snow, I'm Howard David, and the executive producer, Vic Piano, our director for tonight, Bill Schwing, our producer, Brad Fuss, coordinating producer, Red Springer, technical director, Phil Doucette, our technical manager, Balin War, our unit managers, Mark Bowden and Greg Harriman. And introducing